Hello everyone, Steve here. Just woke up, Sunday afternoon. Feeling pretty good, ready for a full day worth of work. Kimberly's going on a holiday, some trip somewhere, so I have the whole house by myself, all the cats by myself. They're running amok all around. I'm pretty tired, I might be stretching a whole bunch throughout this video, but we've got a bunch of Carddass cards to sort here, and also, I want to talk about these Carddass files. Now, I've already sold these are not for sale, I'm just showing them off. They're pretty cool. So back in the day, you had the Carddass machines where it's kind of like a gumball machine sort of thing. You put the money in, press the thing, you get a card out. And at the front of the machine, they would have a display. This is one of the displays. They have another one that would kind of like sit in there like a mount. And this is like where the slot would go, where like you would put the money in like right here. And this would like slot in and mount. These are really cool. These are like same holographic as the Carddass cards. Just a printout of them there. And these are just really, really nice. Have to be really careful with these. So yeah, and this actually is pretty much a copy. Actually, I'm not going to take this out. This is a copy of the Mew card with the same holo pattern and everything, and same with that with the Pikachu in the back. They're just blank because they're meant to just like slot into the front of a machine. There'd be plastic on the front. This is the kind of thing that would like catch your eye as you walk past them. So these are pretty cool, and I'm going to put these away to the side so I do not damage them. But yes, thank you to the lovely gentleman who purchased these off me. I can't even fit that in there. Put that on the other desk. It's perfectly fine. So, I hope you're doing well, guys. Strap in. Today's topic. I actually have got a little bit of... I figured this is actually not a bad thing. This is like an extended Ask Steve, I guess. I mean, people seem to like these videos, and I like sorting things. I got plenty of stuff to sort. I'll show a little bit of what we're going to be sorting today. We got some Carddass green and red, and then we have on the right hand side we have all the Carddass 3 to 4, so part 1, 2, 3 and 4 in here. So what we're going to do is make sure, okay, that's a big mix. Hope you're doing well today. I've got a little bit of a story to tell. Let's pull out all the 3 to 4 first. A little bit of a story to tell, something that happened recently. It's nothing crazy, but it's the kind of thing when it happens it really makes you think. Like when it comes to business, when it comes to like your life, when it comes to everything, it's just like, how do I make sure I do things the correct way? How do I make sure that like what I'm doing is right? And also how do I like, the whole premises on what I'm about to say is based upon double checking. And it's something that I am not good at double checking. I will say that right now. I'm not that great at double checking. I used to be absolutely horrible at it. The fact that I would just like do something and I would forget that I even did it the next like 10 seconds and whatever else. And I know a lot of other people are like that, in the space that you just do something and then you just don't think much about it and then you make a mistake and then you got to fix it. So I'm going to talk at first a little bit of a story about how not double checking, this isn't even related to my store or my business, not double checking cost me around an hour of my time. And you might be thinking, oh, cost you an hour of your time? What does that even mean, Steve? Well, I'll get to that. So there's I'll start talking once I get all these cards out. I put these in sideways. I didn't actually plan on pulling these out for a long time. And for the people asking, there's going to be a lot of questions. Where do you get so many Carddass cards from? I bought them. A lot of money. These things aren't cheap. On average, you're looking at around maybe $2 per card if you really, don't cherry pick the things you buy if you want to get a good range. It's like $2 to $3 per card. Complete sets are pretty expensive of 3 to 4. Yeah, this is like tens of thousands of dollars spent here and just put into this box for my eventual Carddass sales. These cards, in my opinion, don't sell that fast, and there's a lot of people selling them. So, it's this is more of a labor of love than a labor of trying to make most amount of money. So it's all that there. It's just all 3 to 4 in here. So how about we get started on this story? Okay, so this is funny. So I like Subway. You guys have Subway where you're from? Because Subway sandwiches, that's my favorite like fast food to get. I mean, apart from like sausage rolls and donuts, but that's more of like a snack. It's not really like food. Like I like getting like a decent sub from Subway. It's my favorite. A lot of people will be like, Subway sucks, and I don't really understand how you can think Subway sucks, because you are the person that creates the sandwich. So like that really baffles me when I hear people say Subway sucks. It just doesn't make any it just doesn't make any sense. Like, you create the sandwich, so it's either like you suck at making sandwiches, or there's no other thing, or you just don't like sandwiches, which is perfectly fine. But you can't say Subway sucks. At least in Australia, it doesn't suck. Or maybe the one that's close to me doesn't suck. But they had a bit of an issue the other night where they didn't double check something and everyone lost big time. So let's talk about that. When was this? This was around like Wednesday last week. So about 5 days ago. So it's pretty fresh in my mind still. And there's a lot of these cards. I'm not really going to be able to sort all these. How am I going to tackle this? My lord. So I'm hungry. I want to get some food. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I want some Subway. You know, Kim's there as well. She's like, I'll take some Subway. Subway's delicious. It's great. It's good stuff. So we just both agree, Subway. And there's a Subway within walking distance to where I live. So I was like, okay. I'm gonna get some Subway. I feel like that's we agreed on that. My storytelling is not great, I swear. So we place our orders. I usually just use the app. So I use the Subway app, place the order, then walk down and grab my food afterwards. And, you know, I get there at around like 7 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock, because they're open late. And it's really busy. It's busiest I've ever seen Subway in my Subway life. In the Subway life that I live. How am I going to do this? I'm going to put all the cards on the right-hand side. I'm going to do it like that. So, go there. I'll place my order. If you want to know what I eat, I get an Italian BMT, which is pretty much salami, pepperoni, ham. Is it ham in there? It's like 4 different meats, pretty much. It's called a BMT, and the wording for that is biggest, meatiest, tastiest. So it's an Italian BMT sandwich. I get Italian herbs and cheese bread. Even though I'm lactose intolerant, it makes me want to die. It's so delicious that I'm willing to take the risk. I'm eating it at home anyway, so even if I have, like, you know, the runs or whatever, we just deal with it in our own toilet. I don't know why I said that. So, yeah, so I order my food. I walk down 20 minutes later. I get there. They're really busy. Busier than I've ever seen. And I'm like, oh, man, this is crazy. So sometimes I don't really want to, like, hey, I'm here for my order because, you know, pick up, click and collect, or whatever they want to call it. I don't want to make too much of a scene that I'm there to get my stuff. Because I feel bad, you know, they're fast food workers. Subway's not that much fast food, but, you know, they're busy, they're stressed. I don't want to add to their stress. I'll wait till they calm down a little bit, get through the stuff they need to do. I have time, I'll wait, it's not a big deal. So, before I fully get into this, I'm going to be sorting these A to Z like I do most of my stuff, just because it's easiest for me. Let me move this a little bit this way. So, oh, my camera's there. Oh, there we go. So yeah, I'll be doing A to Z, because that's how they're sorted in my boxes. Usually, if you have cards with file numbers like 01 to 151 or set numbers or anything like that, you can sort them by set. But because all my stuff is sorted alphabetically, even Carddass, I'm just going to be doing it alphabetically. So I'll be trying to, like, figure out which card is in which alphabet. These cards do look good. So, where's my zoom control? There it is. If I need to zoom in, I can click that and that will zoom in for me. It's also a really good thing. So I'm waiting in line, not really in line, just off to the side. I'm waiting a while. Then I walk up after they're not really busy anymore. And I go, hey, you know, pick up for Steve. And they're like, oh, yep. The worker just grabs a bag. I check the bag. There's 3 subs in it. I ordered 3 subs. You know, 1 for me, 1 for Kim, and 1 for her sister. So 3 subs, 3 people. Pretty simple. And then I get home and open the bag. 3 completely different things to what we ordered. It's fine. It happens. I was willing to just take the difference in Subway sandwich and just eat the ones that I was given. And I'm sure maybe someone else was given mine and they eat them. But because I live so close, and Kimberly and her sister, they eat vegetarian subs, we got 3 meatball subs. So that's kind of unfortunate when I'm just like, hey, yeah, that's fine. I'll just eat the meatball. Well, 2 other people, they don't eat meatball. So they were hungry. And I was like, okay. So I quickly, instead of walking back down, I drove back down just so I could get there in a minute. Hopefully I can get there before the other people take the ones that I was meant to get. Or before the people were given, like, you know, before maybe I can do an exchange or whatever really fast. Unfortunately for me, they did not have my subs anymore. So, you know, I walked into the store and the person was on the phone with someone, and the person on the phone with them, with the person that works at the Subway, was the person whose Subway sandwiches I was currently holding. And it was a little bit of a... The worker themselves were a little bit stressed. I could notice that. You know, as a human being, you can notice when someone else is a little bit stressed. I have to make these piles a little bit wider because these piles are going to get really big. Really, really, really big. We'll fix it later on. Nice little Mewtwo holo there. So yeah, you know, it's just how it is. So I walk in, the worker's saying stuff on the phone like, please don't, you know, don't yell at me like that. You are not allowed to treat me like that. You know, don't scream at me. Understand, we made a mistake. We're very busy. Is this Tangela or is this Psyduck? Who knows? Psyduck's getting beat up in these cards. And no, I can see that the worker's under some stress, and I feel bad. It's like, you know, regardless of I was given the wrong bag or I wasn't given the wrong bag, I felt bad because the wrong bag was exchanged, and now the worker's getting yelled at because someone else out there can't stand the fact that they got the wrong sandwich. Things happen, but I'm more reasonable than most. Anyway, the worker's getting yelled at, and I was just feeling pretty bad anyway. They get off the phone, and the worker looks at me, and they're like, hello. And I was like, oh, hello. I was given this bag, but this isn't the bag of things that I ordered. And the worker was like, oh, okay. Yep, so you all got the subs of the person who was just on the phone. And I was like, yep. And she's like, okay, what's your order? And then, you know, I exchanged the details. And the funny part of this is because a lot of people order takeaway food. And they order like menu log and Uber Eats and everything. The worker thought I was a menu log driver. And they're like, okay, if I redo the order for the ones that were ordered for you, could you quickly take that to the person's house? I was like, what? And we're getting there. We're getting to understanding where double checking is really important for everyone, for me and the business. So I'm just like, look, usually I would, but I walked here, got given the wrong thing, walked back. Now I drove back to give back the wrong thing so I can get the right thing. And they were so busy and everything was still coming through. And she still didn't understand that I was like, even though I said I'm not a menu logger driver, yeah, I'm not like an Uber Eats driver, she still didn't understand that. And I was like, I had to like reiterate it a few times. She's like, oh, so you don't drive for any company? And I'm like, no, I'm just a guy that likes Subway. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. Like, they, you know, it took a while to get there. But eventually we did. This is nice. Charmander, Charmeleon combos right there. So eventually we did get there. And I had to wait another around 25 minutes just to get my first 3 subs kind of like finished and refinished again. I gave back the ones that I got, whatever. They ended up, you know, making them again for me. And gave them again, even though I waited a long time, but it happened. I finally got the seemingly correct ones that I ordered. Unfortunately, like really unfortunately, they gave me, this is nice. So when they made them, I didn't watch them make them because I hate, like when someone already knows the order, I hate like standing over the glass and peeking in and making sure they're doing the right thing or whatever. And oh, you can't even see those ones. So that's not a big deal. So I hate like standing over and like watching people work, especially when like I know they're stressed and stuff like that. I think they had a few new people working that day, and everything kind of built up once like a perfect storm. I've worked in retail for a long time. I'm sure fast food's the same. Shit happens. It is what it is. Is this Pidgeotto? What am I doing? Where's my P? Where's my P? I found my P. It's Mr. Mime. Where's my M's? I always get bad with the alphabet, man. You guys have the same thing where like you're sorting and you just forget the alphabet. Kangaskhan. Chansey. This might not be like the most efficient way to sort something straight away, but as you get into the groove of it, you start to remember where things were, what the Pokemon is. everything like that. It does get faster towards the end. It's also a little bit harder to do this while you're talking as well. So, trying my best out here. Anyway, so, you know, I get given the subs. I walk home, or I drive home. Finally back home. I hand them to the people that were expecting the food. I get mine. I sit down. I go to eat. All of them are pretty much completely wrong. Except for mine. Mine was fine. And even if it wasn't fine, I still eat it. I don't really care. I was hungry at that point. I'd eat anything. But, you know, the 2 vegetarian ones actually just had meat added to them, like chicken for some reason. So they were pretty much not edible. It's for those people, which really sucks. So it's just a mistake after mistake after mistake. And, you know, the same things actually happen to me in my own business. Because we run like a pretty fast-paced thing. There's no excuse for ever making a mistake, but these things happen. So as long as you learn how to deal with them. But yeah, that Subway in particular obviously did not know how to deal with certain mistakes, and they were just too busy and too stressed to even be working. It was just, is that Victory Bell? Weeping Bell. Weeping Bell. Victory Bell. Weeping Bell. So yeah, they're a little bit too stressed just to be doing pretty much anything at that point. They were just, it's a horrible time for them. You know, unfortunately, I usually wouldn't. They call up and I was like, yeah, look, I got the things. I'm really sorry again, but everything's wrong. Like you know, they gave me like a Subway voucher, and the next time I go into the store, they'll just make some subs for free. I've been to that place probably like 20 times now. I'll probably go another 20 times. I like the service they have. I like the subs that they make. I'm not kind of like ever a person to like completely boycott a business because something bad happens. That's just like a shit happens type thing. It's like, why would I punish myself when I like the subs? I'm not going to be like, I'm never going back there again because I like the subs. Like, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I like them. So, and I understand as a businessman, and I understand as a human being that like shit just happens, and it usually just happens, and then more shit just happens. Usually one shit doesn't happen by itself. It's usually like again and again and again. But this is the power of double checking. Like, it all could have been avoided if, like, you imagine the amount of screw ups that happened. Even for me, like, I had to drive back to the store, then I had to drive back home, then I had to call up and explain the situation, waste another hour of my time. You know, I could have been doing anything else. I could have been enjoying myself, enjoying time, all this other stuff. All because I didn't check what was in the bag, that it was like 100%, like my receipt or anything like that. I know people will be like, Steve, that's not your job. Your job is just to receive the food and walk away. I know that's not my job to check the bag, but like, if I did check the bag, I would have noticed it straight away. You know, I noticed that they were stressed. So I noticed that the other human beings in the store were stressed. So I could have just, you know, just gone a little bit out of the way just to check the bag, and if it was wrong, just go, oh, hey, this is not my order. If I did that, because at this point, I wouldn't say I was too worried to like talk to them, because I'm not that bad socially. I can mention something if there's something wrong with an order. I just, you know, they were busy. I just didn't want to deal with it, so I just left. And I should have double checked what was in the bag, and because I didn't, I had to go back and forward, back and forward. You know, the business, if they double checked, they had 2 customers, maybe even regular customers, both like they messed them up pretty bad, wasted a lot of their time. That's something you never want to do as a business. You never want to make a mistake where it paints you in a negative light in the customer's eyes, because most people, if something wrong happens to them, they will never go back. I found that out, you know, a lot working at the store that I used to work at for my supermarket. If you wrong someone, you'll probably never see them ever again. And if you wrong people, they'll be the type of people, you know, you'll never get a bad review if you don't like make mistakes, I guess. Most bad reviews, most things are all about mistakes that are out of your control. But if you can fix the ones that are in your control, like double checking an order, definitely won't get bad reviews. I mean, even this week. Let me talk about myself for a bit before I keep blasting my local Subway. They also are great. This isn't a bad review. I love them. And the people there, they're always nice. So I'll be going back. Maybe even today I'll get a sub. Actually, that sounds pretty good. I'm going to get one today. I'll claim my free one. I'll talk to them. So, the things that I get is seal. It's not dugong, that's seal. The things that go wrong regularly in my own business is I don't have an item in stock after it's been listed, because maybe I pressed 2 or maybe I had 3 in stock, but I put 4, so I misrepresent the amount that I have available. Or I send someone the wrong item. This happens all the time. It happens so fast you don't even know it. I send someone a PSA 9, they bought a PSA 10, maybe they bought 10 cards, and one of the cards that they bought was a PSA 10, and I send them a 9 just because I was just trying to pull their stuff out, whatever. I didn't plan enough time. I wasn't good. These things happen all the time, and I'm sure anyone else that sells online, everyone's human. It's just how you learn from it and how you deal with the mistake. Obviously, you never want to send someone the wrong item because they don't get what they paid for. You also will, I'll talk a little bit about some things that we did this week, which were pretty bad. We're trying to get better at it. So, got some water. I got Kim's huge water bottle here to drink from. Oh, that's good stuff. So the worst thing that I can do usually is send people the wrong card, because it's just like, oh, hey, they have to message me, go out of their way, message me, hey, I got the wrong card. A lot of people don't. A lot of people I've noticed, if it ever does come up, they just never message. And that's even worse, not messaging instead of just like leaving it alone. Because then someone else will buy the card that you accidentally sent. And then you've made 2 mistakes and you didn't even realize. But it's not it's not their job to make sure that you do the right thing or double check with you. It's nice, but it's not their job. So, the main thing that would happen is, I'll explain what happened this week with the PokeFit. So I sold a PokeFit Pidgeotto, or Pidgeot, I think, like a month ago. And I had one Pidgey, one Pidgeotto, one Pidgeot. I had all 3. But someone bought my Pidgey yesterday, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it on the shelf. I don't know if you guys can see it behind me. Hopefully you can. But I couldn't find it anywhere. I checked every single one. So I couldn't find it. And what happens then? I wasted 20, 30, 35 minutes going through everything, top to bottom, over and over and over again. This is a Seadra. It's not a Kingdra. So I wasted a lot of time trying to find something that I couldn't find it because it was either misplaced or I messed up. And I noticed I had a Pidgeot on the shelf. And I was like, okay, didn't I sell Pidgeot like a month and a half ago? I'm thinking back. Sometimes you just get flashes. And yeah, I did. I did sell my Pidgeot about a month and a half ago. When I first listed all my fits and everything, I did sell my Pidgeot. And I was like, oh, it's still on the shelf here. But what must have happened is I sent that guy a Pidgey. For some reason. I mean, they look pretty similar. Small little brown birds. But I sent him the wrong thing. I don't know if that's actually what happened, but I'm just going to guess, a very strong educated guess, that I sent him the wrong item. And because of that, well, I had someone else buy something else. And I didn't have the item that they actually wanted to buy because I sent the Pidgey to the wrong guy and I had Pidgeot available. It's just all time bad. I mean, I messaged the person. I'm saying, I'm really sorry. I don't have stock of this item. Is there any other, because I sell them all for the same price. Is there any other one you'd rather have? I'm really sorry about this. All these other things you have to say. You messed up. You have to admit fault as fast as you possibly can and let them know. Anything else you want, otherwise I can give you a refund. Really sorry. Because I am sorry. I made a mistake and now the person doesn't get. They searched on eBay probably for however long. They found something they actually wanted to buy. They bought it. And then they get that dreaded message saying you don't have it. All because I made a mistake weeks ago. So you don't know when mistakes are actually going to show. They could be 6 months. They could be 2 years. It could be 1 week. It could be 1 day. You don't know. All because I just didn't double check. But, luckily for me, the person messages me back. And they want to pick something else up. It's like, look, this is their direct message. And it kind of hurts. Kind of hurt their direct message they said to me. And they said, oh, well, I really wanted that one, but if you actually have stock of the Dratini plush, I'll buy that one. And, when they say, like, actually have stock, it's like, oh, it kills you a little bit. Like, it hurts because, like, I didn't intend to do the wrong thing, but, they say but they're more within their right to be frustrated at me because I made the mistake. I didn't have the right thing. And that's fine. This is just one plush, and it's just small. And maybe this person, they'll buy that one off me, and they'll never buy off me ever again because they had to go out of their way to, like, think about a problem that I made. It was my issue. And the same thing, you know, luckily happened with the single store. Someone bought an Expedition Rare card, and we accidentally sent them an Expedition Holo. And the price difference was like $10 to $80. And that's a pretty big deal. I mean, you think about it. Luckily, the person's bought off us quite a lot, and they messaged us to let us know. But it's like, what if they didn't? Then, if someone else buys that $80 card, we have to go, oh, we're very sorry, we don't have that one in stock. It's, it can compound. So it's like two people that are upset. Well, one guy that's not upset because he got given an $80 item instead of a $10 item, he's still probably upset because he's not getting a $10 item. But now, we can't sell that $10 item again because, or we can, but we can't sell the $80 item because we sent it to someone else. And we would have never checked it unless the guy messaged us. So, like, we would have had a disappointed person on the expensive item down the line, and another thing, and another person upset, and another person. I gotta get something for my arm here. Desk is starting to hurt my arm. That's crazy. What is this, a Pidgey? Where's my peas? So I hope all this is making sense of, like, you know, double checking is like the most important thing. No matter what you do, double checking prices, making sure you didn't list something too cheap, double checking pictures, making sure you're like, you actually show, double checking conditions, like, because I usually, when I do my condition checking, I do like played, damage, and near mint for my single store, but I always double check my near mint ones. I don't double check the played and damage. Sometimes I'll like thumb through the played cards and be like, okay, this is a little bit worse. This was meant to be damaged. Because a damaged card will look a lot worse in a stack of played cards. But like a damaged card in a stack of near mint cards might just look played. So you got to like go through them multiple times to kind of like figure it out. What's this fault for? But yeah, the subway thing's crazy because you imagine the amount of domino effects that just happened over and over and over again from, what is it, like, just from one simple mistake. I can't remember, but like I'm pretty sure there was 2 bags on the counter and both orders were ready. And that 1 3-second mistake of just handing the wrong bag to someone. Oh, these are like stuck together. That's damaged, I guess, but that's what happens with these Carddass cards. They can get stuck together. It's always pretty bad with that. What's this, overnight? But yeah, it's a pretty eye-opening thing. And as long as you, as a person, even though I wasn't involved in that mistake, it wasn't my fault or whose fault, it doesn't matter. I can learn from that and then use that to make my own processes a little bit better. Understand, like, okay, do I want to be on the other side of that? Do I want to be the store that, you know, is making these mistakes regularly? Like how the store themselves tried to deal with it. What's going on here? Why there's sleeve with multiple in a sleeve? Before I get the condition police on my back, all of these are pretty much played to damaged. I have a certain stack somewhere of like the near mint ones that I've, you know, pre-sorted to make sure that they're not a part of this and they don't get like moved around as much. So before the condition police comes for me, don't come for me. But yeah, it's just crazy how fast things can happen. You can make the wrong move, and you have seemingly maybe hours. Because I sent the wrong plush, and you know my plush. I've said it many times. I buy them directly from the Pokemon Center. I make around probably $1 to $4 per plush. So on an item where I'm making maybe $1, and it's still pretty good to make $1. Don't get me wrong. Or to make $3 or make $4. It's still amazing to make anything when you're selling online. But for me, where I am currently in my store, I have many items that I've made, you know, $100 on profit, $1,000 profit, $10,000 profit, and my time at this current stage in my reselling could probably be used better a little bit like elsewhere. And I had to spend almost 30 minutes like dealing with this problem that I did, all because I didn't just double check what I put in a package a month and a half ago. Because you only get 24 in a day, by the way. You don't get like a huge amount of time. Every day you get the same amount of time, and you have to use it wisely. Especially when you're trying to grow. Because I'm still trying to grow. All my time needs to be used wisely. Even sitting here doing this sorting video, I could probably use my time a little bit more wisely, getting the sorting done faster and getting the listings up. I mean, there's much, like, I'm going to be real with you guys. I love doing these videos. It's great for me. And YouTube does pay. It actually does start to pay me now. I'm not going to lie, quite a lot. I think the last sorting video I made, I'm happy to be completely transparent. I think it's cool when creators talk about, you know, the revenue that they make and stuff like that, just so that people watching know that, like, you know, it's not all for free. Like, you know, I'm doing this. I would be doing this regardless, even if it paid nothing, to be honest. But it does feel good to know that YouTube's going to pay me a little bit, people are going to watch, and my stories can benefit some people. But I don't know how much the last one, I think it's like $70 or something. That's crazy. You guys bought me 3 or that's like 5 Subway sandwiches with like one video. Then my last, like my 2-hour video, I don't know how much all the other ones make, but it's pretty cool to know, like, I can just sit here, I can talk about stuff, give some insights to how you can be better as a seller, as a store, as a person overall. You know, I hope that's being like, I hope I'm being transparent or something. I don't know what I'm doing. This is more of like a podcast style, like, is that Butterfree? Yeah. People seem to like the sorting videos. I'll just do more of them. But I'm not just going to do them just to do them, sort of thing. Just to get like videos up, because that's not what's intended. Like, as I will say, like I was saying before, I can most likely, if I sort these without recording, I can get this done really fast. Right now, I'm like talking and I'm trying to figure out what the letters are and like where my letters are. I mean, I want you guys to try this out at home. Just start talking about anything. And that's one thing I need to talk about. I talk to myself quite a lot. Like, quite a lot. Kimball is like, you're always talking to yourself. And I can't explain it, but like, wait, what is this? Krabby? There we go. I talk to myself quite a lot when I'm just around my office, working. Maybe it's just like me warming up my lungs and my lips and my mouth. I don't really know. That's kind of sexual when I say it like that. But I'm like warming up myself to get ready for, you know, maybe I'm about to record a video. And I've noticed sometimes before I've recorded videos where I can get a little bit, how do I explain this? Like, I slur the words a little bit. Maybe I talk too fast. Maybe I do this. Maybe I do that. It's not as good as I'd like it to be. But it's because I've sat there for the whole day and I haven't said anything to anyone. All I've been doing was just maybe a few words to Kim at breakfast or something like that. But most of the day I would just be sitting there, just working, doing stuff by myself. You know, not as much like open communication, me talking, as much as I'd like. So I've been trying to train myself to talk to myself a lot more. And you will be surprised at the conversations you can have with yourself and things that you can like figure out. Like, I don't actually talk to myself. I talk to my, where is he? Somewhere around here. I talk to my big Pikachu plush. And, you know, that's actually something that a lot of successful people do, where they talk to something to explain what's going on in their head. And as they explain, they come up with more things, and they come up with more things. And I know quite a few successful people that, like, yeah, that's perfectly normal, Steve. I mean, it looks weird, and if anyone sees you doing it, you're just talking to yourself. But, like, it doesn't matter. If it helps you get the ideas out of your head so you can put them into, I just threw that, put them pen to paper, well, it's really important. So me, I'm a very visual person when I'm talking about what I'm saying. I need to write some things down. I can't just completely explain it because there's so much constantly revolving in my head over and over and over. So it's you guys will be surprised if you do start the whole talking to yourself thing. Just try to make sure no one hears you at first, because they're going to think you're a weirdo. But being weird is fun. So that's that for sure. But yeah, the whole double checking thing is crazy. That even 8 years after doing this, and I have made every mistake that you guys can imagine. I once sent like a $35,000 card through FedEx to someone. I mean, this just shouldn't happen. But it was just, it's as simple as putting the wrong shipping label. And I sent like a $35,000 card to someone, and then I sent like the $15,000 card to the other person. So the $15,000 card person got their card, and it was the other person's card, and they're happy because, you know, they have $20,000. And luckily for me that the people I'm dealing with are like long-term friends, and things happen, and they help me go through them. They're like, "Oh, you messed up." I was like, "Oh my God." That was like a sleepless night. Like that night where I mistakenly sent like a $35,000 item to the wrong person, and they got a $15,000 item. Both of them, I'm so lucky. And this is why I'm a little bit selective with who I sell expensive items to, who I'll sell like an item out of my collection, because it's not just like a random person that I'll choose. And we've got some Venusaurs here. That's pretty cool. Bulbasaur, Ivysaur. We had a Charizard somewhere. Here he is. Show off this Charizard. If you don't know what a Carddass Charizard looks like, it's like this awesome old artwork and the Charmeleon. So, yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being the person that spends that much money on a card and the person just like sends the wrong thing? And I pack them all, and all. Here's what happens. So when I send an expensive item in the mail, here's exactly how I do it. I package it, obviously. I print out 4 shipping labels. I'm having 5 on my hands right now, but it's actually only 4. I print out 4 shipping labels. And then my mind is blanking so hard. I have 4 shipping labels, and it's really important. So when I package the item, I just add 1 into the item, and then I put it in a box. Usually when I do really expensive items, it goes in a box and then in another box. I'm going to pull these down a little bit. Maybe space them out a little bit more. These stacks. Because these are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. There we go. So yeah, I have 4 shipping labels. I go 2 outside the box, 1 at the top of the package where you normally put a shipping label, and then 1 kind of like either to the side somewhere. I also print out like a sticker, kind of just a label with the address on it, the person's name and then the address. Just not even the shipping label itself, just like a on the box. If it's my name, Steven, on the side with my address there. So I've moved all my things, but I have an idea of where they are. So I have 1 shipping label inside the box. I put that box in another box, and then I put a shipping label on top of that box itself. So 1 inside, 1 on the box, and then another outer box with some more bubble wrap, and then 1 shipping label outside the box, and then 1 shipping label on the side, and then another printed label of the person's name and the address. And the reasons why I do this, if shipping labels come off during shipping, they have an extra 1 on the other side. If 2 shipping labels come off, it goes to lost and found. They open the box to see what's inside. Hopefully. They open the box to see what's inside. Is that what? Victory Bell, Venusaur. Yeah. And then they go, oh, there's another shipping label here. If that ships and it suddenly goes to crap, well, inside that box there's another shipping label. And I've had several packages over the years. I once had a package that came from DHL that, you know, I bought from someone in Japan. They sent it to me. The outer shipping label came off the box. And inside that package was probably around like $150,000 worth of stuff. And I kind of noticed it. I was like, wait a second. And because that happened, this is why I do the things the way I do now with the multiple shipping labels, because that happened. Because I don't want that to happen to someone else. And also to finish off the sending the wrong card, the people I gave them shipping labels to each of those people for the respective parties. They were happy for me to share that information, and then they just shipped them to each other for me, and then I refunded them each $200. Like, here's your time for like helping me out. So I had to pay shipping twice, which is around like another $400. Plus I lost another $400 refunding the money. So because one mistake I made, because I didn't double check 1 label, I lost $800. And when you think about that, that's like 200 plushes worth of buying and selling and shipping, just to like get all that stuff, just because I made a mistake. So yeah, you'd be surprised. This is all S's. Oh, so I'm onto another stack now. I'm cruising right now. So yeah, you just gotta. If I just talk about stuff, more and more memories come back. Some of them good, some of them bad. But Yeah, it's kind of funny. So yeah, and then this DHL package, I noticed that the tracking didn't update for like a day, and DHL is very fast. The tracking didn't update one day, and I was like, that seems weird. Usually on like, day 2 or 3, it gets delivered because they're really fast. And then usually it would reach like certain checkpoints just because DHL is so good and so up to date. And I love DHL. But for some reason, this one wasn't, and I was a little bit concerned. And, I have many buyers that buy off me that are concerned sometimes when their trackings don't get updated the same ways, and I fully understand why. It's perfectly reasonable to be concerned when something out of the norm happens. It's actually better to be proactive so you can tackle the things. So I noticed after like 3 days, I called up DHL and I was like, look, I don't want to be the guy that makes a fuss because it didn't get a shipping update, but this hasn't got a shipping update for a few days. And I'm wondering what's going on. And can you help me out, look into it? And the thing is, the person's like, okay, I'll investigate this and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I give them a description of the items inside the box, the best I can. And what happens is, they messaged me back. They're like, hello, Stephen. We have something fits a similar description to what you have. It's actually found in our lost and found. Well, not lost and found, but like lost packages part, like the shipping thing label came off. And I was like, oh my God. That is crazy. It actually was lost. Like I had confirmation that the items that I bought were lost. So the label came off during shipping. At the center, you get these things go through conveyor belts. They go through everything. They get flipped around, chucked around. You got to make sure you have multiple shipping labels on in case one gets ripped off, because it can happen very, very easily. Very easily. And if I didn't investigate it fast enough, the thing is, more and more things get added to lost and founds, and maybe they're like in a month's time, they're just like, oh, we can't find it, and I'm shit out of luck. And it's just like, I'm not gonna lie, because of that scenario, I was like in tears. I was like, these are like collection items that I'll never be able to buy again, because A, the monetary, plus they don't really exist. So it was a thing. Like it was, even talking about it right now, I'm getting like PTSD, because just the thought, if those things went missing, it would have been like, God, that would have been sad. That would have been so sad to see those items just go missing from shipping. But they didn't, and we're here. Now I'm talking about them. So that was another power of double checking. I was double checking the tracking number. Just little things that you learn over time. And there's nothing wrong with being someone who checks things multiple times. And I am someone who doesn't really, historically, ever check things, ever. I'm more of a one and done type person, but I'm trying to train my brain to do it better. Kim's really good. She's sent out maybe like 10,000 envelopes of items that she sold. I think that's maybe that's a little bit too many. I mean, she's helped me a lot with my packages. Probably that many items in total, but the card store, I think her card store, she's probably sold around 7,000 items that she's packed and shipped by herself, which is really impressive. But maybe I think I can only, on one, maybe like 3 or 4 times that I can remember where like the wrong item was sent, or we listed something incorrectly with the wrong name. But that's because she is like a notorious double checker. And it's good, because it might take you a little bit longer, but you reap the rewards in the future. You don't understand how much time you save when you don't make mistakes, because mistakes are a really big time sink, and you don't want to be making them, I guess. That's what I'm just trying to remember. And I'm sure you guys are like, yeah, Steve, obviously you got to double check what you send, but it's like, as you get bigger and bigger, and that's why I tell people, like how you start, you should be focusing on really cheap items. So if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? You should be focusing on really cheap things to train your brain, train yourself, how to list efficiently, how to sort things efficiently, how to find things efficiently. It doesn't even have to do with making money, just like training your brain in how to get down all these things. Because if you just don't do it, and then you sell like a whole bunch of expensive items one day, because maybe you don't want to do cheap stuff, and then you make a $50 mistake, and you got to refund that. I mean, that's a huge blow. That's a huge blow to anyone. But if you don't have that much, well, yeah, it's this can happen. That's why I always tell people, no matter how big you are, unless you're already like a multi-millionaire, just training yourself and learning how to sell for really, really cheap items that don't sell for much profit. You're just doing it for like, you know, the EXP. You're doing it to like train yourself and how to do things a little bit better. I'm getting faster at sorting now. You can see I've got the mind muscle memory going now. My shoulder's starting to hurt. That's a good thing. Good thing we only have like 20,000 cards left. I don't know why I have so many of these Carddass cards. I don't know what my infatuation is with these. I think these are... God, my hair looks terrible today. Is that really what it looks like? See, it's a little bit sticky today. It's hot. It's definitely hot. And I'm probably going to go and turn the aircon on soon. I have it on in another room just to cool the whole house down. But yeah, this is really bad. Yes. But yeah, what I do after this, with the whole sorting thing, is I put it all together. Just like this, put it alphabetically, and then I... God, these sorting videos are helping me like talk while doing things like so much better. Oh my god. Ah, oh, this water's so good, it's so cold. Oh my god, I'm just loving it. Sorry about that. My throat's already dying from doing this. I'm learning to talk while sorting a lot better now, so it's quite impressive. Yeah, so these Carddass cards, you know, I'm gonna be completely honest. I haven't sold that many, but I can see the vision. I think all things said and done, these cards probably won't ever be that super expensive. They're already pretty expensive in my opinion. Like, you know, you can't even buy them like in bulk. There's nowhere to really go. There's no, you know, they're usually like a few dollars each, even if you only buy like 20 or 40 or 50. And they don't sell that fast either, so like it doesn't make a lot of sense to like even, I don't know, to do this. But as a card store, I want to have a little bit of everything. I want to try and have a little bit of everything. And if I don't do this, that means I don't expose myself to what these could be. Maybe they do sell for like a lot and I wouldn't know, but I'm testing it out myself and I'm trying my best, I guess. So, but I think I've sold around like 150 of these as singles over time. I've probably sold like 400, 500 graded copies. Because I used to try and find mint ones and then I would just bulk offload them, all the ones that weren't good. But now I'm trying to sell them as singles because I do want to have like a significant amount. I'd love to have, you know, 10, 20,000 of these cards all up, ready to go and listed, and they just sell slowly over time. And every time I sell a whole bunch, I use that money to buy some more. So it's such great artworks. They're really good. Pincer, Abra, Choke, pretty good. Champ, Alakazam. But yeah, it's I kind of went a little bit crazy. I did have a friend that had around 1,400 of these, and this is where the bulk of this comes from. And, you know, he cut me a pretty good deal on a lot of it. So that was, you know, one reason why I do have so many. Or so much, I guess. But apart from that, I've been picking up little lots here and there of these over time. Just because I can see the vision with them. They are like, you know, the part 3 and 4 do look amazing. They're not the first Pokemon cards. I'm 99% sure the part 3 are the first ever like Pokemon card type things. Not really cards is what we have today. Like, you know, they're playable items and stuff like that. But yeah, these are just pretty cool. So that's why I like them. I feel like I have to explain why, because otherwise it wouldn't make any sense. But it's something that I can buy and I can put my money into this as a card store, and I won't. I'm hedging my bets that they won't go down in price, I guess. I don't think these are going to go up in price. You know, maybe some PSA 10s from time to time, they might go up. But like a played Carddass single is pretty much at like the price it will be for the foreseeable future. Maybe in 5 years, we might see a little bit of a leap where like, you know, they're $3 to $5 each to buy them in large amounts. But I honestly, I can't see it. But I never really make my purchases like that. This is like a pretty good purchase for me. Because, you know, if you compare this to like, let's use a modern single. So like 151, right? That's a really popular set that came out. I've sold several thousand reverse holos out of 151. That's done great. I love the 151 cards. They look cool, but they sell sometimes like $4 or $5. And these played singles, $26, $27 each, sell for $4 or $5. So it's like, you know, what's going to have to change? It's, you know, do you invest your time into focusing on the modern stuff? But the thing is, I can spend the same amount of money on these cards, and in a year's time, my card value will probably be the same, if not maybe a little bit higher. Like, because maybe they become more rare or more people want them or whatever. But the 151, if you want to sell the reverse holos, or any new set when you want to, like, you know, buy the modern cards and sell them, open boxes, open packs, and sell that kind of stuff, English, Japanese, doesn't matter. You might find yourself with cards that have just gone down in value quite significantly, and even worse, you have cards that no one wants because it's not the new thing anymore. Whether this hasn't been a new thing since the start. So I hope that kind of makes sense of why I think it was fine to me to put so much of my money in something like this. That's why I love selling the old stuff way more than I love selling new stuff. Yeah, new stuff is like hype. People love it. You sell it, it sells a lot faster. I do think any new person who wants to sell should only focus on new stuff, because you can't learn much if nothing sells. And if you just buy a bunch of old stuff, you're probably going to be, you know, stuck with it for a while, and it's not going to sell that fast. Meanwhile, you'll see on like YouTube or Instagram of people posting all their huge sales of selling all this modern stuff. And this is why I've kind of like trained my brain over time. Like, look, Steve, the modern stuff is cool, and I love the modern stuff. Like, you really have to, you really, if you want to do this as a business, as a store, full time, and not work a normal job, you have to buy the most recently released stuff pretty much every single time. Like, you can't like just be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna skip this. You just have to do everything every time, even just to do it. And even if it doesn't work out that well and you just break even, as a store, you just have to do it just to learn, keep your brain running. It's just an unfortunate turn of events. That's why I tell people, you know, you can become. There are card stores that are way more successful than I am, and the people just have normal jobs also. Because they don't have to waste their time with a whole bunch of like brand new stuff. They can just focus on the good stuff that they like, that actually works for them. They don't care how fast they sell something. You know, these days I care a little bit less with how fast I sell something. But in the past, I had to care. Because if I didn't sell something, well, I couldn't afford to live. And I couldn't afford to buy more stuff. You know, now these days, some people tell me, like, Steve, why do you grade so many? Yeah, you grade a lot of weird stuff and it doesn't sell very fast. Your PSA graded stuff. And it's more like, oh, we're going to start a whole new chapter. We might as well. Before we do that, we'll take a big sip of water. So I'm like pretty widely known as someone who seems like they make a lot of their, I guess, money from grading cards. And yeah, grading cards has been really good for me in some scenarios and really bad for me in other scenarios. But I wouldn't ever say it's like my main thing. Like, it's, how do I explain that? Because like, grading cards is how I can easily get a solid margin and get a value increase out of like spending the time to find like nicer stuff. I just realized you guys can't really see all the cards on the right hand side. Not that it matters, because you guys should be sorting your own cards, not looking at mine. But there might be some psycho out there that wants to watch this. So I do make a lot from the cards. Okay, let me rephrase that. I do sell a lot of graded cards. Every day I'm selling graded cards. It's on my mind 24/7. But my main thing that actually gives me the best returns is like keeping my ear to the ground of like the overall like rare Japanese Pokemon cards and even rare English Pokemon cards, and I just try to snipe deals all across the world, whether it's like from Japan, Instagram, auction houses, Heritage, PWCC, Gold, and everything like that. I finally built myself up to have like a certain amount of like financial buffer that like, the stores buy and sell whatever. If I don't sell anything in one day, it's not the end of the world for me. I'm very fortunate and I'm very lucky to be in that position. But it doesn't have to be like I need to sell my grades as soon as I get them back. So most of the stuff I sell, I grade, is stuff that doesn't sell that fast. But, I don't need to sell it individually. Look, I'm not going to lie. I would love to sell all my cards way faster, even at a little bit of a discount. But I don't really... I love Pokemon, I love the cards, and I'm not that stressed. I know that some things take a while to sell. I know that other things sell really fast. I'm not like stressed by it or anything, because I'm in a really happy place financially, so it's not a big deal. But I have, even in the past month, I have bought items for like $5,000-$10,000 that I've sold for like $25,000. Stuff that I haven't even shown on the channel. So like, because it's not because I'm trying to, how do I explain this, like gatekeep it from people or whatever, show that it's not even possible, but it's just like so small and niche that no one's really interested. Plus, there is a certain level of like competition when it comes to this stuff. There's many people that are just trying to do the same thing I'm doing every day, and that's perfectly fine. I love the fact that I can help people on eBay, help people start a store, help all this other stuff, and then make other people that also run their stores a little bit better, so we can make the buyer experience better all around in the whole world of eBay. Because even currently, it's still really bad. Like, it's actually terrible that like some people will sell something and just send it to you in no sleeve, no top loader. I'm trying to. That would be an awesome thing if I could even contribute to fixing that, just so buyers on eBay, because I love eBay. eBay changed my life, so I'll be pro eBay till the day I die. I'm not sponsored by eBay. If I was sponsored by eBay, that'd be fucking awesome. If you really think about it, the amount of people that I've helped create eBay stores or sell more on eBay, I'm probably making eBay in hundreds of thousands of dollars theoretically, but they don't owe me anything, because I wouldn't be here without them investing billions of dollars in their amazing company. I don't care if people think by listening to that I'm an eBay dick rider. I don't even, can I say that? eBay dick rider, is that a thing? Like, I don't care. I love them. They changed my life. They've changed many lives all around the world. Yes, they're a business. Yes, they make money. It's the same thing with me making these videos. Yes, I make money for them. I'm still happy to do it. They obviously have a different sort of like a sort of thing, but yeah, when it comes to like this super rare niche stuff and like buying stuff randomly from auction houses, and then you can just like resell it pretty much the moment you put it back up for sale for like double, triple, quadruple. It's not something that can be sort of like taught, or even if I make a video on it, because some of the times the people that I sell to watch the videos, and I think that's not a really good thing to do, to be like rub it in their face sort of thing, to be like, oh, I bought this and I sold it for this much more profit, and I made 10 grand off this person because they could have bought it somewhere else for cheaper, but because I bought it, it's, you know what I mean? I feel like we're teetering on a fine line there between like not showing things or showing things. What are you doing, Top Sun card? Get out of here. But it is what it is. There's no. I'm about to sell one of my trophy cards today, actually. Yeah, we'll see. It's always fun selling a trophy card because there's so much excitement around. I'm really trying to go into 2024 with like a super strong cash position. I guess I can talk a little bit my own business. Maybe that's why people listen to this. Actually, what is it? Oh, we're an hour in? I've been doing this for an hour. I have barely any cards sorted. Oh my god. All right, we're an hour in. Only the real ones are here. The real ones of Instagram. Let's stay for the hair jokes. Do you, are you listening for me to just talk about myself? Are you listening for advice? Are you listen? What are you? Because I don't want this to be like a. I guess the channel's named after me, but like, I don't want it to just be me, me, me. I really don't like that, to be honest. I want it to be like, oh, this is what you can do, and I have done this, and you can do this to benefit yourselves. So that's what it's meant to be. It's not supposed to be a me, me, me. But maybe there are people that want to stay for me. I don't never really thought about it myself in that way. Look, I can't even believe we are at 5,000 subscribers, to be honest, because just start of the year I was at like 700, so I don't know. I thought I'd be able to hit 2,000, maybe double. And 5,000 might seem a lot. There's people out there that have millions, but I'm happy. I'm happy with the number. I'm content with the number. The higher it goes up, the more and more messages I'm going to be getting. And I'll talk about that soon, because it's been a great thing getting so many messages and so many people I'm able to help with like my helpful videos, and I'm really proud of myself for making those. But do you guys want me to just talk about me, or do you want to talk about things that can help you? Like, I don't know. Or is it just a mix of both? Or is it the fact that I'm being honest? Is that just why it's so good? There's a lot of people that aren't honest, and it's very obvious that they're not honest. I feel like people think that they can just like be online and not be honest, and we don't notice. Like, even me as a consumer of content as well, like you can tell so easily when someone's not being honest, and they think you can just like, you don't even notice. Like, I don't know. You guys know what I mean? Like, you can just tell when people aren't honest. I'm not going to give examples because I don't need anyone more people witch hunting me. That's too much stress. But yeah, it's kind of funny when people like aren't honest, and then like you just know. Regardless. What am I saying? Oh yeah, the trophies. It's always really, because it's not something that many people talk about, just because it's so small and so niche that it's just like, no one's really interested. Everyone's more interested in like the new modern release or the new this or new that. Plus, it's more fun to talk about those things because more people can get involved. Plus, there's more sales on it as well. So it's always more exciting when more of something is happening. But I'm about to sell one of my trophies that I bought for around like two years ago, or maybe a year and a half. I bought it for like maybe 12 or 13,000. I'm about to sell it for 25. They used to be a little bit easier to get this stuff, but now ever since like, there's a few really, really rich Chinese people that have been buying up pretty much every single trophy that I was interested in when people told me they were junk and a waste of money. And now it's kind of funny seeing them get the respect they deserve, and now they're expensive. And now I'm happy to sell a few because cards aren't always set in stone. Sometimes you have something that's like $10,000 and then it becomes 20, but maybe there's still something that's $10,000. You know what I mean? And then you can use the money that you made selling the expensive item, and you can buy something else with it that's the original price of the other expensive item, and you just use your like keep your ear to the ground type stuff. But so yeah, I'm selling this card hopefully for around 25,000, and then I can just use the money. I probably won't even buy anything straight away. I'll just use it, keep it aside, and then if I see something that's like a really good deal, I'll buy it. So I think a lot of people ask me, Steve, why did you grade so many cards last year? That's a pretty common question I get. And at the time, what I noticed, I was like, well, there's a severe lack of like graded cards available and for sale in quantity and quality. So I was like, okay, I can just, and there was a severe lack of like obvious items to buy that were like, okay, well, that item is really good and you'd be able to buy that and sell that. So I already had a serious amount of cards ready to grade. So I was like, why don't I just put pretty much every dollar I had extra? It was kind of scary, to be honest. There was one point last year, earlier in the year, well, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, 3 months ago, when I was doing all my return videos. There was one point where my accounts were lower than before I even quit my job again for the second time. And Kimberly's like, you sure you know what you're doing? And I was like, honestly, not really. But it worked out, and now we're here. So there was That was deep. That was deep and real right there. There was what am I saying? So I recognized myself personally. I was like, I feel like spending the money on grading fees is going to be worth more than buying more cards at the moment. For me, that was my sort of, I don't know the word, but that's what I noticed anyway. And I did that, and I feel like this is going to sound dumb when I say it, but on everything I've sold, well, I've profited a generous amount. But there also comes a thing when you're selling cards and you're selling trading cards and collectibles and everything like that, not everything sells instantly. So on everything I've sold, just like the Yu-Gi-Oh experiment, I graded like, almost 600 old Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It cost me around like $18,000 to do all that. And to buy the cards, I'm at around 21,000 all up. And I'm never gonna say like $21,000 is not a lot of money. That's a shitload of money. And I've sold to this date. I sold a few more yesterday, which was great. I'm at around 6,500. And you might be thinking, well, Steve, that's just it sounds like you made a terrible move, and you can only do that because you're rich. And whatever you want to say, and you are kind of correct. I can only make because I've had some of those cards for almost a month now. I can only make such stupid decisions because I've put myself in a position to be able to make stupid decisions. I hope that makes sense. And I think that's a position that many people should strive to be in. You should strive to knuckle down and make as many good decisions as possible, because you can't make risky bad decisions. You need to just put a lot of work in. I mean, even still to this day, I'm putting a lot of work in every day. I'm not just like, oh, look, I made all this money and now I'm just sitting here doing nothing. I mean, I'm literally sorting $1 to $10 cards right now. And after this, I'll be condition checking them. Wait, do you guys want to watch a video of me condition checking? I'm not sure how I can do it that well on a long-term video like this, because that's something I really need to concentrate on, because that's the whole double checking thing. If I make a mistake on condition checking, then someone gets upset, and I only make the mistake because I'm sitting here talking. I don't want it to take away from my actual buyers and people that buy from my store, but I could probably make some more long videos like this doing something else. And so, now where was I? I can make these things and decisions and stuff because I'm more fortunate than I used to be. I'm not going to say it's a big deal, but, I priced every card at a generous amount to start off with, just so each one I sold took a bigger chunk of the pie out of money that was owed against that deal, I guess. Money that I borrowed from the Bank of Steve. So, I think I've sold 6,500 to this day, and and that's not too bad. That's a lot more than I expected to do straight away. I listed all of them at certain prices. I haven't lowered any of them. I think I will lower them in around 9 months' time. So that sounds dumb, but I will lower them around 9 months' time. I might not even lower them. There might be a world where I'd never lower the price on the Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I graded, just because I'm not interested in selling that stuff for cheaper, and they are things that do sell very slowly over time. Some of those cards I graded are top one, and it just waits for the perfect buyer. I've had a lot of messages. So that's always funny when you grade stuff that's when you do something different in a community, or oh my god, I just hit everything. You guys see that? You do something different in a world where it's not normal. So in a world of old Yu-Gi-Oh cards, there's not many cards graded. There's not that many old graded cards, and if it is, it's an expensive or rare card already. And in Pokemon, it's super common for someone to buy a common card or a non-holo or something like that graded. As people just do it. It's just how it is. It's been happening for years. It's been happening with Wizards of the Coast non-holos for years. Everything. Pokemon buyers are a lot different. They're happy. They want to have the cards graded. It costs them a little bit more, but they don't care. The Yu-Gi-Oh people, when they see a cheap card like Gem Mint 10, they're just why did you grade that? You wasted all your money. You burnt all this money. It's I've gotten a few hate messages on eBay and Instagram. And it's all I did was grade 500 Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and these people are that upset. It's honestly crazy. So, yeah. But it's just different. I'm sure it's different for any other things. Whatever they can see me as a bad guy or not, I don't really know. Don't really care, to be honest. But yeah, that's funny. So what was I talking about before? before I went on like 7 tangents. I went on a few tangents. I always go on tangents. I'm completely stumped right now. Well, I think I was talking about the trophies and yeah, so there's a few things that I think are good buys right now. There's a few things I think that are great, not so great. Here's what it is. But there's one buy right now that's like almost guaranteed that no one I've seen talks about it. And this is something that not everyone can take advantage of, because you can really only take advantage of when you're a little bit more, or maybe it's only an Australian thing, but a savings account. Whoa! What is he talking about? A savings account? Yeah, I think a savings account is one of the best purchases right now. They're usually free, especially in Australia. Interest rates are around 5%. And when you think about that, that's a lot. So this is like in terms of, well, interest rates are higher, but savings account rates are around 5% in Australia. So that means that over a year's time, the bank is willing to give you 5% back on the money that you have in the account. And that's quite a lot, to be honest. Like, if you really think about it, and I don't care what any of you guys do with your money. It's your money. I'm not here to tell you what to do with it. If I had some guy telling me what to do with my money, I would probably tell him to fuck off. But you can do whatever you want. But like the thing is, like, you know, when I make these purchases, when I make deals, like the Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, grading all those cards, a few more 10s and I would have been like really, really well off, I think. I think I got, you know, I didn't get screwed because the card conditions are the way they are, but I think a few more 10s would have made that all those cards graded a way better thing than they are. But that's a topic for another day. But, you know, if it cost me 21,000 to buy all those and grade them, I could have put that in a 5% savings account, and what, over 1 year I would have had another $1,000. So that's when I say, like, I have 1 year from the majority of me spending all that money on those cards, and if I don't have my money back in 1 year, then I can go, okay, I did something wrong here. Like, I could have just not touched this money and bought something else with it, or kept it in a savings account for half the time. So that's my, like, yeah, savings accounts are kind of pretty big right now, and that's why a lot of things aren't as expensive as they used to be, because it's just like, okay, why are people willing to spend all this money on cards when, I mean, as I say that, I gave my middleman another, what, 4 million yen today just on random stuff that I bought. But it's yeah, I think it's really important to have a balance and understand that if the deals and the things that you're buying aren't better than like 5% over a year, I mean, obviously that's really bad if you only get like, well, it's not really bad, but if you can't get more than 5% on something that you're buying, maybe you gotta go back to the drawing board. But you gotta remember, this is like, that's like the baseline. You gotta remember, it's 5% with no work. Like, you don't have to do anything. And I'm sure there are other ways that you can put money in somewhere. I'm not well versed in them. I'm not going to give advice on them, but I'm sure there's other ways. In Australia, we have a thing called an offset account. So if you have a mortgage, you can like put money in the mortgage and then you pay less interest, which is like better than a savings account because you have to pay tax on your savings account gains in Australia. So you can, instead of like saving and them giving you money, they just don't charge you as much, which is the same thing, but it's a little bit better because then you don't have to pay tax. So it's actually, instead of 5%, it's like 8%. There's a lot of things that happen when you get older and you got to deal with these things, and it is what it is. But chop should be there. Oh man, we might have to save the other Carddass cards for another day. This is a thing. Am I slow? Is this just like how I am? I need to go a little bit faster. I swear I'm not slow. It just takes a while to do this while talking. That's for sure. I just heard a cat come in. Cat just came in and rubbed my leg. It's kind of funny. So yeah, that's there's a lot of things we're talking about here. It's just crazy. I mean, yeah. So how about we talk a little bit about. So I made this video a few days ago, a week ago. I don't know what it was, and it was called "A Day in My Life." And shout out to the duck. I think he's Michael. I can't remember. Oh man, I should remember the name. All I know is that you're really buff and you're really good looking, and you gave me an idea. Like, Steve, do a day in the life. That's what people do, and people love watching that, and those videos get a lot of views. And I didn't do it to get a lot of views, because who would have known? Most of my videos get like 2,000. Well, that's like the most. Like 2 to 3,000 is like really good for me. So like, I made it just so like the people that watch me can see me in a day in my life. I probably will do an extended day in my life, not like a fast cut video, just to fully show like what actually happens in a online card store, sort of like what you got to do. And a lot of it's just like sitting in front of a desk dealing with cards, but there's a few intricacies. I don't know how to say that word, but you know what I mean. So yeah, shout out to the duck for giving me the idea, because I'm not gonna lie, it did benefit me quite a lot. Let's talk about that for a second. I didn't ever think that I would have a video that even would get more than 10,000 views. Let's be honest. You know, I'm not a viral type guy. I'm a sit here and deal with cards kind of guy and talk to a camera. So, but I think that that video not only had a lot of views, but a lot more people came to the channel. I think I got another like 1,000, 1,200 subscribers or something just from that video alone, like going to all my other ones. It was just crazy. And then the amount of messages. The first day I put it up, it didn't get that many. I got a few messages, but like it was like the second day I woke up and my Instagram, I don't know how many. It was like 47 or 57 unread messages or something like that. I don't know if I've told this story before. I hope not, because it's pretty new and recent, but there's a lot of Pokemon that start with K. That's something I didn't really realize. In the 151 at least. So they're like, I got a lot of subscribers, more than I had the whole year almost, just from one video. I didn't realize that like if you do a video that you put a lot of effort in, okay, well you can get actually a lot of you can get a lot of reward from that. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. But it was like 50 messages the first day, and then it was like 100 the next day, and it was crazy. And I'm really happy with myself that I put a lot of effort into like all these like tutorial videos. You guys have probably seen them. The ones where I just talk about stuff or how to make things easier, better, shipping tutorials, all that kind of stuff. You know exactly what I'm talking about if you've seen them. And just like how to make an eBay store, how to set it up, like what buyers want, auctions, best buy it now, all these like little things. I got asked pretty much all these questions in mass, and it was amazing to be able to just like, oh yeah, I got a video on that. And a text response is not too bad, just to like, Steve, what should I do with this? Or Steve, I have these old cards, what are they worth? Like that kind of stuff's a little bit more case by case, and it's harder to help and give, you know, sort of any real advice. But when it's a topic that I have already a video on, I'm really happy with the amount of people that were able to like watch them and just learn and listen and whatever, even if they don't. I felt good. So I feel like when we are in live, a lot of people try to tell you that like you shouldn't try to celebrate when you do something that's like good. You should always just sit down and grind. You know, it should never be about the reward, just grind. It's like, okay, something you can take a reward from. Calm down. You can take a reward every once in a while. Like life is long, but it's also very short, and it's short enough that you can sit there and take a reward from time to time. And if you do something that benefits someone else, you can sit there and be like, okay, I benefited someone else. That's really good. I'm happy with myself. And that's what it's all made for. This whole thing is made for benefiting other people. But in doing that, I didn't realize the benefit for myself, which is kind of like, isn't that like an oxymoron or something? I don't know. Am I a moron? Probably. But yeah. So it's like crazy to even think that videos are like 65,000 views or something, and so many interactions and messages, and people found me all across the world. It's amazing to see people like buying and selling things and collecting all across the world. And people like go to my store and they buy off me just because of like a video, and they're like, you know, all this. It's surreal. It's like I'm in an alternate universe, because I'm not a guy that's like, I'm not a popular guy, you know. And for a day there, well, I'm not gonna lie, I felt pretty damn popular. It wasn't great, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't mind the messages, but the more messages and the more comments I get, the more it takes away from like my job, my actual thing that I wake up every day to do. But it's fine. Now it's calmed down a whole bunch, more than it was previously before the video, but it's manageable. I feel like it's still pretty easy to reply to someone and give them like a 3-second response. You know, most of the time I can just fix people's questions or anything like that really easy. I will be recording the Ask Steve. Not directly after this. I'll probably go get my Subway. My throat will kind of go back to normal. Drink a whole lot more water and I'll get there. But I will be recording the Ask Steve again today. But I have a whole bunch of work that needs to be done first before I do that. That's probably my favorite thing to do. But this is kind of like another version of Ask Steve, if we're honest, if we're being honest with ourselves. Like, this is just like a long form Ask Steve where there's no real questions, but I talk about things that pretty much the same thing. But I hope I don't become like an echo chamber where I'm just saying the same things over and over again. If I ever do come like that, I hope people that watch me, they comment on it, they let me know. It's not a big deal. I don't know what this YouTube channel is going to look like next year. I mean, it'll probably look exactly the same, to be honest. Like, we probably won't have as many PSA return videos until, like, you know, February, March, because I don't even have any submissions out at PSA. There's a few things that I plan on doing, like videos. I don't really plan my videos like that much in advance. If I just feel like doing one, I'll just do one. I feel like that's the best way to be. They're not forced. I'm not like trying to push an agenda or whatever. But regardless, even if I have no video ideas, and I just won't post any, but I'll still be like, you know, answering questions, Ask Steve. I'll probably come up with a few more. Over time, people will mention things like, hey, can you do something on this? This would be beneficial. And if I see like a common trend with like something that seems like it's be good, okay, well, I'll make something on that. But I'm pretty happy with how it's set up at the moment. I'm really happy with how this year's gone and how many people have been able to benefit, sort of thing. And I've never like looked at myself as a teacher. I've never looked at myself as like someone that people can learn from. I've never thought of myself that way, because, you know, I have a normal life just like most people. I grew up in a very normal life just like most people, not in a rich family, and just I haven't really talked too much about my family, but, like, you know, my parents, very inspirational people. They both moved here from Austria. My parents moved here from Austria. So from Austria to Australia, I don't know why they came to Australia. I should probably ask them one day. But, you know, they moved from Austria to Australia when they were 20. So you got two foreigners living in this country. They don't even speak English, and they moved here. I think there was some reason. I don't know why, but there was a reason. They moved here from Austria to Australia. They didn't even speak English, and they had 3 kids, because I have a sister and brother as well. And they managed to make it work and grow over time and get better at things. And that's like super inspirational. And we got, like, if you really think about it, they didn't have anything. I think, you know, my mom was telling me the other day that the first house that they rented, it was like $70 a week. And I think they both earned together like, you know, $240 a week or whatever, working at their jobs. It wasn't much. So we had enough to get by, but, like, you know, they're like literal immigrants. And it's crazy. I mean, like, so, because I mean, look, people comment whatever they want. It's free to comment, you know. Everyone has an opinion. But, you know, when I see things just like people call me Silver Spoon, or people want to call me, oh, just rich guy, like he doesn't know what it's like. Or, you know, I've seen people have said everything about me over the last few, like, year and a half since I've been really doing this channel. And that's what happens. You be more public, you be more open about things, you show things off. You know, I put $10,000 mail day here, $20,000 PSA return. You know, you kind of have to put like these things in your titles so people click on them, whatever. It's just how it is. But, like, these people have no idea. And, you know, it's most of the time when someone comments something like that, like, I'm not gonna say it. Like, I have been someone, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite right now. I have been someone to look at someone else, and when they say, oh yeah, I'm born out of the mud, or, you know, I started from the bottom, now I'm here, and you know that you just know that that guy is an actual silver spoon. But maybe I don't talk about it that much or whatever, and I just know myself that, like, not that it means anything. Oh, you had a not a rough life, but you didn't start wealthy or whatever. Who cares? Heaps of people do it, but it's just like, man, when I was like 15, I moved out. I was like renting when I was 15. Like that is not a good start. I'm not gonna lie. I was renting a room when I was 15, just because whatever personal reasons. I don't want to go into my family's history and air their stuff out, but for some reason I found myself, not living with anyone, so I needed to find a room, and I was working part-time casual at the supermarket while I was in my last year of schooling. So yeah, I've been working since I was like 15, 16, and I was renting. And some people, they get to move out when they're 25, they didn't rent, and then they get to like buy their first house then, or they get help from parents buying their stuff, and that's great. I'm envious, I'm jealous, and I wish that was me. I mean, if I ever have kids, hopefully I can do the same for themselves. Some people like to, I've seen people bully people for like living at home for a long period of time. Man, if you can live at home and save money and benefit your life greatly in the future, like, it's not, man, do it as long as you can. Obviously don't do it to the point where like you can't have proper relationships, you can't like, I did really enjoy all the share houses that I lived in, all the friends that I made, everything along the way. But yeah, for monetary reasons, I set myself back. Well, I didn't set myself back, I guess, but I was set back like a lot more than the average person, I guess. This isn't like a, oh yeah, my life was harder, I haven't talked about it, but I'm sure there's people listening to this that have very similar situations that, probably they think to themselves like, oh, I don't think I'll ever be anything. Just remember, like, it doesn't matter. As long as I've in my life that I've been doing this whole, not even just buying and selling trading cards, the whole like someone who puts an exponential level of effort into something. Because I don't really care what people think about me. Man, he's just got money or whatever. I don't care. But I have put more effort into something than other people, and I have got way better results as of that. That's the only thing that's really true. Regardless of anything else, I have put more effort in than 99.9% of people when it comes to running a card store or something like that. It doesn't matter what it is. And, luckily with the card store, it's a big thing and it got big and everything, everyone loves it. It was still big back in 2018, 2019, but now it's just crazy. But, like, just remember, I have never seen someone who wasn't the best at what they did or took extreme pride in what they did and, like, became the best or used it to make the other areas of their lives better. I've never seen that person fail, I guess, if that makes sense. I'm not really sure what I'm trying to quote here, but I've never seen that before, personally. I've never personally seen someone be like, I tried 1,000 times over and I tried harder than anyone else and it didn't work out. And I'm sure there are examples of it. I'm sure there is. The life's not perfect. It's definitely not, just like I explained before. Sometimes you start off a lot worse in the game. And sometimes people start a lot better. But you can't get mad at other people's like parents or lives, the fact that they start off better. Just like you can't glorify a situation because someone starts off worse. I hope that makes sense. Maybe, I don't know. Should I even post this video? I don't even know what I'm talking about. Am I just talking to talk at this point? Like, I hope that makes sense. I don't want to be an inspiration. These cards are really stuck together. That's unfortunate. That one got ripped. That one's fine. Tell that is damaged. Damaged is fine. Telling damaged cards is fun. Because there's no, like, pressure. The person that buys it, they know it's damaged. So, like, if they know it's damaged, you know it's damaged. Everyone's happy. Sometimes people buy it and they go, hey, this card's damaged. And you're like, yeah, I said it was. And they're like, oh, I didn't want a damaged one. That's just unfortunate. That's going to happen with selling anything where people don't want to read. Just like yesterday, I got a return. This card's not first edition. Well, I guess. I mean, I didn't say it was first edition. And the listing says unlimited. And the PSA grade on the thing says it's not first edition, but it's fine. Those are frustrating as a store, to get returns completely out of your control I've got returns, like I have bills to pay and I can't have this anymore. That's fine. That's why eBay is such a good marketplace, because people can do that. But it's also like a really bad trade of eBay, and it's what turns a lot of people off. You know, I don't really get scams. I don't get people trying to do stuff like that to me because I can notice it when it happens. But those are probably the most frustrating things when it comes to running a store that is not as talked about. That could be a video talking about most common things that happen on eBay, or like eBay's most common, I guess, scams or return reasons and how to deal with them. That's definitely something that we can do. You guys agree? I agree with that. Because, you know, this guy that bought the card, it's unfortunate because I, you know, sold it to him. I paid $12 in shipping, and if he sends it back through eBay's thing, well, eBay will make me pay for the return shipping, and will most likely make me pay for the return shipping. And even if they don't, even if he pays for his own return shipping, and I get it back, I have to refund him. I just lost $12. I mean, the amount that I'm working sometimes to make $12, it's minutes of my time. It's half an hour of my time sometimes. It's maybe even an hour of my time. Maybe to make this YouTube channel, YouTube video, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but it's going to be quite long. And, you know, I spent time making this, and I can just lose all the money that I gained from this video just because someone can't read the PSA label or the thing of what they're buying, because I lost $12 in shipping. I can't get a refund from the shipping company because they did what they were supposed to do. That is probably the most important, the most frustrating thing about selling on eBay. Nothing else. Just the fact that you can get screwed over by your fellow human beings, I guess. Just because, and that guy there, do you think that guy understands? Yeah, the guy that bought the item, they don't. First of all, he probably doesn't really care. Second of all, he doesn't know that, like, imagine walking past someone on the street and you buy something off them, and then you're like, oh, I don't want this. And then they have to refund you, and then they just lose $12. Like, you would never do that to another human, right? At least I hope not. You would never willingly do that to another human being. But here we are. We're in situations where those things do happen. Why can't I find P? It's here. Rapidash and Ponytail look so similar. It's actually so annoying. It's so annoying. Oh man, you never know what you're gonna get when I make these videos. Maybe that's like the next play. Maybe that's the next thing I do for this channel. I just make these random videos where I just rant. Where is the S? Oh, they're right here. What's wrong? I can't even this far in, I can't remember. I implore you guys to try and do this while talking. Just record yourself talking, and you know, you don't have to post it anywhere. Hey, even post it on your own channel. Talking while sorting, people obviously like watching it. A lot of videos like, oh, Steven, you got a pretty good recording setup, and someone commented that earlier. Right before I made this video, I think I got a comment saying like, oh, Steve, you know, I want to make YouTube videos, but I always get frustrated because, like, I can't see myself making them because my videos won't be good and I need a good setup. And it's like, if you got a phone to make the comment, you have enough to make the video. Primate. Yeah. You have enough to make the video if you got a phone. I mean, a light helps. Light in general helps, but if you really don't have a light, just go outside. Just go sit near a window. If you have a window near you, it's free. It's free light. If that makes any sense. You can do it. I did my first few videos, first like 100, 200 even, all with my phone. I'm lucky that I had a good phone. You know, I spent a lot of money on the phone, so I had a good phone. But like, now to do a video like this with a top-down camera, proper microphone, webcam, yeah, obviously it costs a little bit to get this set up, but I was still having some people watch my channel before I did all this. But, you know, I will say, at the same time, I think people like watching videos where the setup's a little bit better. But I will also say, I'm saying a lot of things. The video that I made, that got 65,000 views, which is just fucking so ridiculous for me. That video was all filmed with my phone. I filmed the whole thing with my phone, and I just talked into my microphone. And I'm sure I could talk into my phone microphone and then clip that. And then I used DaVinci Resolve. It's a free editing software. So I could have done that without any out of things. And that makes me feel like this whole setup I bought was a complete scam. Because I could have been able to make videos. But I'm getting tired now. This is bad. What's setup doing here for? But in saying that, I feel like this top-down setup is really good for this kind of video. And this is pretty much why I made it. Having a phone and getting it set up top, you don't know if it's recording most of the time because you can't see the screen. This just fills me with a lot more thing. And I feel like people do, people do like it that you spend a little bit of money on a setup. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to ask a question. I was gonna ask this at the start of the video. Oh, maybe on the next video. I'm buying a case of Shiny Star, or not Shiny Star, whatever the new set's called. I don't even know what it's called. The new Paldean Fates Shiny, the new Scarlet Violet Shiny set. It looks pretty cool, and I'm just gonna buy a case, whatever the lowest price I can find when the set drops. Buying it from some retailer somewhere, maybe even on eBay with a coupon might be cheaper. A lot of people ask, like, Steve, I don't know, where do you get the supply from? It's like, dude, I just buy whatever's cheapest from anywhere. If you're really struggling to find, you can just type it into Google, Japanese Pokemon boxes, type the one you want. Just keep scrolling down. There's hundreds of online Japanese card stores that sell this stuff. Just find one. And make sure you double check reviews. Most likely, join some communities. Join some communities. Find some Japanese card communities. Ask some questions. If you join a community and on day one you go, where can I find the cheapest place to buy booster boxes for retail? Do you think anyone's going to help you, honestly? Because, like, you have to contribute first. That's a funny thing I see happen quite a lot. Like, you get asked these questions. It's just like, there's a reason why people don't really talk about where they get stuff from. Because the people that ask the most are usually the people that contribute the least. And that's another talking point. It's like, they just join the communities. They go, hey, where do I get the cheapest things from that I can buy and resell? It's just like, what are you doing? Do you think these people that are like collecting are going to help someone who's just going to like buy the stuff that they're buying? And, it blows my mind. Like all these Carddass cards, yeah, they are for sale, 100%. But I also really love them. And I've had these for months. Some of these I've even had for like half a year. And I haven't like immediately listed them for sale. So if someone asked me, Steve, where do you get all these Carddass cards from? I'm not going to like go on the internet, find links, give them search terms, and do all the work for them. Just so what? They can buy the same things that I'm trying to amass and I love? Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy, like the level of entitlement. And I get the same thing. When people message me, I'm not stupid. I need a drink of water. That's one thing I need. I can still sort while doing this. Oh man, I sucked on that a little bit too hard, but it was good stuff. Oh, that's refreshing. Not only is it good for my throat, it's just super cold, so it just calms my whole body down. Yeah, I mean, when people message me, I'm not stupid. Like, I've been doing this for a long time. I've helped a lot of people. I've been helping people since before I can remember. For about like a lot of help for about 5 years now. Whenever anyone ever needs anything, I help. But it gets to a point where I know, I can tell. People ask me like, it's so funny the blatant messages I get. Brand new Instagram accounts that just message me, where do you buy your cards from? It's like, okay, this is a pretty heavy-handed question. I just send them the video I made on sourcing items and the idea behind it and how you can do it and all this other stuff. And you should buy what you like and then get like, interested in a market first and then all this other stuff. But they're just like, oh, so you won't tell me where you bought this from? You won't tell me where it's like, oh my God, man. Like, the level of entitlement is like so high, but I get it. I mean, it's hard. I mean, if I was brand new and I didn't know anything, I wouldn't think it's like this big serious thing. But like the person that asks like where you buy something from, where you get it from, where this is from, where that's from, how can I do this? Like, they don't know that they are one of like the 500th people to ask that same question in any community about any hobby all around the world. And I'm sure people get over that question quite fast. Me, I'm not over it because I understand why people ask the question because they're confused. They don't know anything. They're not interested. And the question's driven by money. But 1 in 100 of those people are probably going to be like, okay, I understand this. You know, I actually do like Pokemon cards. I'm not just, I don't want to just make money. And that's perfectly fine to make money. You know, you make money, you can make people around your lives better. There's nothing wrong with making money. It shouldn't be like, you know, treated the way it is. But, you know, you can't just like depend on other people to make the money for you, I guess, is the one thing. Because no one owes anyone anything. There is not really like, if you want to owe people stuff, that's perfectly fine. That's well within your rights. If you don't want to owe anyone anything, it's also perfectly fine. You can't play both sides, personally. You can't play both sides. I mean, I even see, like, I catch myself sometimes playing both sides. Where I was like, yeah, you know, ask me anything you want and I'll help you out. And then someone asked me, and I'm like, look, I can't tell you exactly where I got this from. Because A, you know, someone told me, and I don't want to, you know, tell people where they bought that from because they're a friend, ruin that person's business. B, if I explain to you like why I do everything, you're just going to compete against me, and then I'm going to have to try and find something else. And there's just a lot of part of it. There's a lot part of it. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, I do play both sides, even though I say at the same time that you can't. But I'm also doing my best to try and teach people how they can figure these things out, how it can be understood. It's kind of like when you're in school, you don't need to know a lot of things that they teach in school. A lot of it's just like complete bullshit. But there's a reason why the curriculum is the way it is. Is it the first Cubo? I haven't seen one of those. Cedra. There's a reason why certain things are done a certain way. And I learned a lot in school. Not really, but when I was there, certain things I did learn. They are teaching you to learn. They're not teaching you the things that you are learning. If that makes sense. Unless you're in like university, etc., then you need to know those things. But they're teaching you how to learn, how to like obtain information and then use that to obtain information. When you're like doing a test or an exam or whatever, you have to hand in, you have to show your working, you have to show that like where you got it from and how you got it and all this other stuff. That's the main thing. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to teach you to like how this can be possible. I'm also trying to tell people like you should never do this as a full-time thing because you'll go crazy, and you also in this day and age, in this economic climate, you need a shitload of money to be able to do this full-time. Like if I didn't get like, you know, luck, skill, whatever you want to say it, if, you know, the big COVID thing didn't happen, all this other thing, I could probably see myself back at a job at the moment. And there's actually nothing wrong with that. It's very noble to work a job. There's nothing, it's great. The world needs more people to work more jobs. The world doesn't need people to be full-time card sellers, fortunately. So it's I'm trying to teach people how to think, how to figure it out for themselves, sort of thing. Understanding that like your main goal is to get item A, buy it, and then maybe if you like it, enjoy it, and if you don't like it anymore, sell it. But if the next person buys it, make sure they get it and they're happy with it. That's it. Just like these Carddass cards. When I sell them, I'm going to accurately describe them. I'm going to say this is damaged. I'm going to say this is played. I'm going to say this is near min. When someone buys it off me, I'm going to ship it the same day. I'm not going to mess around and wait 5 weeks to ship some things like some sellers do. They don't think it's important, other people's time. I'm going to protect the item while they ship it, because the moment someone buys something off me, it's not mine anymore. It's theirs. Like it's their item. It's like, it's such a, you got to change the way you think. Like when someone buys something off me, the moment the money has been transacted, in my eyes, the item that they bought, that's no longer mine. It might be in my house, but now you look at that item, you're like, okay, well, the stranger's item is in my house. I don't want this to be in this house anymore. You got to really change the way you think. It's like mental gymnastics. Because I don't want someone else's stuff in my house. You guys want stuff in your house? I don't want their stuff in my house. I want that crap out of here. So I hope that makes sense. That's the way I think. Like truly think. Because when I sell something, that stuff needs to be gone. Plus, I don't want them to... Imagine if someone found something yours on the street and they just send it back in like a plastic bag. No, it's like, you know, you got to protect that stuff. You got to be diligent about it. You got to spend some money to make sure it gets to them fine. This is a lot of cards, to be honest. A lot more than I thought there was going to be. I might have to redo some of these piles. But I'm not finishing this video until this sorting's done. But man, I should really go into this with some topics next time instead of just rambling. Or maybe rambling's good. I don't know. Honestly, there's so much I'm sure I could talk about. Kimball is like, it's amazing that you can talk for that long. Well, when it's something that you're passionate in and you love, I think anyone can talk about anything for as long. As long as there's someone that will listen, I feel like most people are willing to talk about anything forever. As long as there's one person willing to listen. I think that's the difference. It's like you obviously, you don't do it because you want people to listen, but like if you're doing it and there is one person willing to listen, then it's perfectly fine to go a little bit crazy. So I think I need to probably redo some of these stacks here, or maybe be a little bit smarter about this. So I do this thing sometimes where you can sort through the stack and it's less efficient, but when you have very little space, it can work out for you. So right here, I just pulled out all the cards that start with D. Maybe I'll do the same with the M's because there seems to be a lot of M's. So we got that, we got this, what we got. So we got 3 S's right here. I can get rid of those. Horsey's an easy one. I don't even know what what is that, a polywheel? Yeah, so we're starting to struggle a little bit on space here. Try to like put the easy ones away first rather than spending all this time focusing. Yeah, sorting efficiently is kind of, there's no correct right or wrong way to sort. I mean, as long as you can do it, but that is another guide that it will be coming out soon, like how to break down items to then sort them and list them efficiently. I've always been on the verge of like, I don't really ever try to do anything purely the most efficient way, as I do like to get a little bit of enjoyment out of it. But, when that's why I always try to tell people, just like try and sell stuff you're actually interested in to keep your attention span on it a little bit longer, and try to like don't focus too much on the absolute end goal of just making money, because you're also gonna lose your mind. You're gonna lose your mind like crazy if you focus just on money, because it's not gonna help you. If I was focused just on money, I would not be sorting out these Carddass cards. I would bulk sell this off, and I would just sit there and wait for, deals or whatever, or like I said earlier with trophy cards, I would just wait for stuff like that, because that's obviously the best time for money. But I don't think it can be explained how much I love when something sells on eBay. I can't. I'd be a liar if I was sitting here and thinking it didn't, like, it didn't give me feelings that I can't explain or even say on TV right now. Why am I such a weirdo? I turn everything weird. I swear to God. Got some sand slashes here. Some Marowaks. There's so many cards. How many cards do you guys reckon this is? How long is too long for a YouTube video? Like, honestly. Like, we're almost at 2 hours. All I know is if something comes across my brain and I think about it, we are going for another hour. That's for sure. Like, we're going for another hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Now that I know that there's one person willing to listen, maybe for an extended period of time, I'm happy to do this for as long as I can. Kimberly's not here today, so I don't have to, like, we don't have to go anywhere or do anything together. This is fine. Squirtle, Squirt, Alakazam, Magnemite. Oh, I found the M straight away. So yeah, I mean, this whole thing is, it's a bit of a, you really just think about it and you're just like, wow, these cards really are beautiful. Like the artworks, and they pull them in, and everyone has a different experience with each Pokemon. I feel like that's what just makes Pokemon so good. Because Pokemon, in my eyes, for me, like how I got into it when I was a young kid, there could be someone else who got into it exactly the same, but had completely different experiences. Like, there is no one person that had the same experience. If you look at it from like a really wide angle view, maybe, like, you know, you got into it, you first started playing the games, and then you got some cards, or first you got some cards, and then you played the games, and then you stopped, and then you came back, and then you stopped, and then you came back. Yeah, sure, if you want to generalize it. But if you really want to think about it, there's so many people that had, like every single person has a unique memory. Like, you know, just tell me your memory. Just, like, write it in the comments. Who cares? Let's talk to each other a little bit. Because if I can talk for 2 hours, you can leave me one comment telling me your experience with Pokemon, how you got into it. I'll tell you mine. That's a pretty good thing. After a sip of water, for sure. Mmm. Oh, that's some good stuff. Where are we at? We're talking about my experience with Pokemon. So, a lot of people think, like I said earlier, my family growing up, we were exceptionally poor. Poor is not even a word that I could use it. Oh, okay, poor is a bad word. We were pretty much lower middle class, I guess, because, you know, I'm not going to say that I know what being poor is like, because I'm sure there's people in some countries, in some places, that would show me levels of, you know, poor that I wouldn't even be able to comprehend. But we were pretty much like on the very lowest end of middle class, because we had enough food to feed the family, but after that, I'm sure there was not much left over. And, you know, still renting for, like, the whole family lifestyle. It's really bad. But you know, my first ever Pokemon cards that I had personally, I first got exposed to them when my brother was buying, like, you know, base and jungle packs with his job that he had, because he was like 5 years, or he's like 6 years older than me or something, 5 or 6. At least this is what I can remember anyway. This might not even be true, but which kind of makes it a bad story when it's not even true. I'm really messing up the sorting now. Marowaks and in the K's. But my first experience with Pokemon, pretty much seeing my brother get, you know, the base set cards, all this other stuff, and I was like, wow. I mean, as a kid, everyone was going crazy for Pokemon, right? I mean, it was just amazing. It was just insane. Back there in '99, I think I was like 6 or 7. The photo I have is my, you know, profile picture for this YouTube thing now. It's like me in 1999, which is pretty cool, because it's like, it means like that's me when Pokemon first came out, I guess, in English-speaking countries. And then, you know, my brother had some base set cards. He would give me some junk commons and stuff from some time, but I never opened a booster pack. Probably until I got my first ever cards were it's a Water Blast theme deck with a Jungle Vaporeon Hollow. I still have that, luckily. I'm so thankful to have that still. And yeah, it's like that was pretty much it. And then I think I got 2 packs for like my birthday. And that was like the very first packs I opened. The packs were like, you know, $1.99 each or something like that. Pretty expensive for a piece of cardboard with a struggling family. But yeah, even thinking now, I wish I just wouldn't have got any. I wish the family would have just been able to get anything they want. But maybe now I can benefit and give them anything they need whenever they need it. So lucky to do that. But there's, when you're thinking about it like an objective view, everyone's different when it comes to like the start of their Pokemon journey. Like, I didn't have many cards at all. I played the games. I really got into like Ruby and Sapphire, a little bit of Gold and Silver. I was still young. Like, I wasn't that like into it. But like Ruby and Sapphire really like pulled me in as like a kid. Like big time. Big time. Like, I think my Sapphire game, I probably had close to like 800 hours on it, maybe a little bit more. My Ruby game, not similar. I think that was the one I would always reset. So Sapphire was like my main game. I feel like a lot of people probably did this. They had like a main game. Like when those games started to come out, like my brother had a Game Boy and I had a Game Boy, like doing a little bit better. So like, you know, but he gave me his. So I would play his version of Ruby. I would get what I need, trade it over to my other character, like my other account, or my other game, I guess, what they're called. And I would try to amass as many different things. And then I would make teams on Sapphire and then give them to my Ruby game to play the game with. And it's kind of funny that that's how it is. If you just heard that meow, that's my cat just sitting right there. But feeding time's at 6 p.m. and it's 4 p.m. So she does this every day. Hours before the food's supposed to come out, She's acting like I've never fed her in my life. So it's kind of funny when that happens. So yeah, but I mainly just played the games. I had nothing to do with the cards. And, you know, like I said, a lot of people, I've said it in my video. I've said it many times. I came back to Pokemon cards in like 2015. All because I needed money. And I had my cards and they were worth something. And I sold them. And then I realized that I could sell them. Like, if that day never happened where I sold my cards online, or if I never realized that, like, Troll and Toad sold, like, Venusaurs for less than I did, like, half the price, I wouldn't even be sitting here right now. It's crazy that, like, small things in life make such insane... I've talked to people from every single country across the world. I've been able to connect with people and help with people just because I decided to sell something, like, 8 years ago, 9 years ago almost. Like, it's... even when you think about it, it doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? Like, you even try to think about it. It's like, what? It's like, what the hell is that? But it is what it is. But yeah, and I tell people, if people ask me like, oh, Steve, I have my collection. I want to sell more, but I'm not sure what to let go of first. It's like, guys, I didn't even collect until like 2018. I did not have the spare money to even have a collection. Now, I had some cards that were like for sale that I priced higher to keep for them for a longer time, definitely. But I didn't even collect. I couldn't afford it. I knew I couldn't afford it. And I didn't want to slow down the progression by keeping stuff. And I understand why people want to sell stuff, because they also want to get some progression, and keeping the money, most of the money they have in cards is you know, detrimental to them wanting to start a store. Understand that, but I didn't. That's not how I started. Definitely did not start with like a big collection and then sold it. I started with like $100 worth of cards at the time, sold them, bought some more. The only thing that I started with more than most people start with is I started with the knowledge of how to actually sell something, pack it, and ship it. That was like the one thing that I like started extra with compared to the average person. It's very daunting to sell online, for sure. Just for the reasons I was talking about earlier. You get people that are doing shady stuff, weird stuff, making you lose money all the time. But that's a cost of doing business, and you learn to deal with that eventually sometimes. Sometimes you can get negative or neutral feedback, and it'll ruin your day. That's like, for me personally, if I get negative feedback these days, I don't care. I laugh it off. I just get it removed if it's warranted. And I don't do anything that warrants me getting negative feedback, so I can get it removed pretty much every time. But, you know, Kim's like, it's her worst nightmare if she gets a negative, because she works so hard that she's still so new to this. That, you know, she works so damn hard at everything she does. She's completely transparent. If anything goes wrong, 99% of the time, it's out of her control, because, you know, she is a little bit of a control freak, I guess, which is not a bad thing. We need control freaks in this world. They're the ones that keep everything under control. The lazy people like me that don't want to control anything. But, you know, it's yeah, it's a thing. Like, it's one thing where people don't want to do buying online or selling online, because they don't like the potential of a bad experience is not worth the potential gain of, like, you know, creating value through like using your hobbies. That's pretty much it. God, I love these Carddass cards. They all look so good. I mean, look at these artworks. They're just so crazy. Did I bump this camera a whole bunch during this? Hope not. I'm like completely naked underneath this as well, so hopefully you guys didn't see certain things during the video. It'd be kind of funny, to be honest. You really think about it? Oh, maybe I should put pants on next time. No, who cares? It is what it is. All right, so yeah, it's definitely, I understand it from a lot of people. For me, it's easy. Ship a $30,000 item worldwide, declare it at $50. It's no big deal. It'll probably go right. I mean, what's the worst? I can't, like, the thing is, like, I can't sit there and worry about the worst case scenario, because, like, I just have to do it. Like, there's no other, like, a PSA submission, I have to send it overseas. I can't put it at $20,000 and be like, oh yeah, there's $20,000. This is a PSA submission. First of all, they won't let you mark the item at that much. Second of all, they'll never pay you out in insurance. And third of all you're doing is putting a huge target on the back of that item. Someone will just swipe it, and then you'll never hear from it ever again. So you got to make the items look like an everyday item that people buy online every day, probably just like some household thing. It's scary. Like, it's genuinely scary. But it's you learn to deal with it over time. Like, I remember when I shipped my first... What was my first expensive item I sold? Oh, man, that's... Oh, it's a funny story. This story is actually funny. Have I told this before? Probably. So, when I started to get bigger and bigger... This is not really bigger, but bigger than, like, someone... When I first quit my job, I guess... No, second time I quit my job was when I had the most amount of money I've ever had. Because I got lucky to get a job that paid decently. I fixed all my things in my life. I sold out a whole bunch of stuff. So when I quit again, I made sure I had a safety net. Plus, Pokemon started to pick up. Everything was kind of like perfect for me. But earlier in the year, it was kind of funny. Earlier in the year, I bought a PSA 9 first edition base set holo set. And I bought it with a friend. It was $16,000. And I paid $8,000 and he paid $8,000. So... It was quite a lot of money. PSA 9 first edition holo set, 2018, 2019, around 16,000. That sounds about right? Yeah. I'm thinking to myself, making sure I get the facts right. Don't want to have the wrong facts. That'd be bad. And that's kind of funny to even think that. I'm pretty sure the Charizard alone is like 25,000 now. So even 4 years later, I know it spiked up and it went down, but after everything's said and done, it's still significantly more expensive than it used to be. He got the Charizard, and I got all the other cards. That was the trade-off. He gets the Charizard, I get all the other cards. It's actually how undervalued the rest of the set was back then. That was actually like a good deal for him to be able to get a Charizard for cheaper because we bought everything, and then he also got like the rest of the stuff was kind of like not as expensive, and I got to take that. So that was kind of funny. But all those cards, I was like, wow. Like, I was full into English then. I never had any first edition base holos, but I managed to be able to get $8,000 scraped together. I paid a little bit with my credit card, and let's not talk about cash advances. Don't do them, kids. They're very scary. And you know, they it was genuine, like a genuine thing. I had to ship $8,000 to me, which is the most that I ever had. I had to trust someone, which I gave the money to through bank transfer, $8,000. I never even seen the amount of money in my life because I didn't have all that money. Like I said, I had to cash advance some of it, which is, again, scary. Kids, don't do that. And then the thing is, it's like Grimer and Muck. I got those cards in. What I did with them is I wanted to be a big card. So when I was, big English seller, and I wanted them to be showpieces on my store. Sorry, just having a drink. Oh man, dying out here. Yeah, I wanted them to be showcase pieces on my store. And they were. And then one day, I woke up. So I had them all priced at random numbers. Like I had Nidoking at like $3,333. Blastoise at $5,555. None of it made any sense. But it's like the same I have now with a lot of cards I have on my store. They're priced really high, but they're like funny numbers and they're just my stuff and whatever. Because I just want to show it off to get more hits on the store, pretty much. You see someone with that kind of stuff, you want to look at what else they're selling. So there's like... So what happened was I woke up one day and it's like items sold, $5,555. PSA 9 Blastoise, first edition. And I was like, what the hell is this? I'll pull up maybe I'll share this story one day, but man. That item was listed like for like $1,200. Buy it now. You could buy it off someone else, even in Australia. So I don't know why this person chose mine over anyone else's. And it was kind of weird. I thought I was going to get scammed. I messaged the person. Sometimes when you have a risky address, you have to look it up online just to be like, okay, what's going on here? And, it wasn't a scam. The guy was like a real estate agent, I think. And I looked up the residence, and it was a real estate agent residence. And I was like, this is just a normal person that he just bought the item and it's getting it sent to him. And I just messaged him. I was like, hey, I'll send it out today. Just confirm this address and add your phone number and stuff. And I shipped that out. He left feedback, and that was it. And that item was like only worth around $1,400 or something like that. Oh, yeah, stretchy, and I'm dying. Ugh. And it sold for $5,555. And I know that's never happened again. That was the only time like some crazy item sold online. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, I don't know how many times I've told this story, but isn't that just nuts? Like, I told my mom, and she's like, you're fucking kidding me. I was like, what? And she's like, you're going to get scammed. There's no way someone's spending that on a Pokemon card. And that was my first, like, expensive item. Like, before that, the most expensive item, like, I was really heavily into grading back then. And yeah, I would sell items for $200, $300 and stuff like that. You know, it's not really that big of a deal. But yeah, that was just like, I don't know how to feel. I was like, okay, this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Plus, like, you know, what do? Do you be? I double checked that the guy knew what he was buying and everything, so I didn't feel like I was taking advantage. It was all their money. That's how business is sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta, as long as the person knows that they know what they're getting, and they're like, yeah, PSA 9. It was kind of funny. A month later, the guy messages me, and he goes, hey man, really love this card I got. He's like, I just want to ask, do you think this card will go up in value in the future? And I was like, that's a weird question to ask a seller like a month later. I was hoping that he didn't do like a return case or anything. Like, obviously, if he did that, I would deal with it and understand it is what it is, but he never did. And yeah, now I'm here talking about the story. Isn't that just a crazy story? Has that ever happened to one of you guys where you just like, you sold something for like, you know, more than it was listed for online? And that's probably why a lot of people over time just have these really, really high listings, because people do this. They don't check and they just want to buy something. That's just how it is. Maybe it happens less and less and less the more things that are available. But yeah, I wish I would have documented more from back then. That would have been really cool, just in general, just to see like everything. Like, I have a few screenshots that, you know, everyone would take screenshots of their sales and stuff and send it to their friends in really old group chats on like Facebook and stuff like that, but it's really hard to navigate. But what is that? Yeah, it's just crazy. Like, that's probably like a life-changing moment. Before that, I don't know what the most expensive thing I sold was. It's all like crazy. The most expensive card I've ever sold now was one of my Wonder Platinum trophy cards. I sold one with the shield. And you know, I kind of regret it sometimes, as I do like those trophy cards with the shields, but I sold it for a price that, like, me as a human being that has people that depend on him and you want to make their lives better, like, you just need to understand that you just have to accept the prices sometimes. And I don't know, it was like close to 100,000. Like, you know, but everything was going crazy. That was like a year ago. Everything was going crazy back then. That was nuts selling that card for that much, but the buyer really wanted it, his favorite card. And yeah, sometimes you just can't say no. I just used the money to buy like several other trophies that I really wanted. I'm happy. Even use that money to buy the trophy for like 10,000 I'm selling, you know, supposedly selling today or tomorrow, whenever the money comes in. Nothing's ever sold until the money comes in for 25,000. So like, use the money, use it on something else. Even if that item went up, I bought something that also I got some more value. It's like, it's constant value building. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. That's value building levels of extreme. But just because I got a few big wins every once in a while, because, you know, I had to take the risk in the first place and spend tens of thousands of dollars on these items in the first place. So if I get a reward out of it, I kind of, you kind of do deserve the reward if you do spend that much. But I don't let that take away from me doing the grind stuff, the grunt stuff. As you can see, I've been sitting here for hours talking while sorting all this crap. It's not. You're not crap. You guys, this card's not crap. I love these cards. And you know what's funny? After I'm finished with this, I still have to sort it again. I'm probably going to get up and eat some food after this. Maybe I'll do another sorting video. But I probably won't do 2 sorting videos in a day. As I need to regenerate my mind. I can't just make these just to make them. Oh my god, this is crazy. Oh, we're almost done. We're almost done. But I'll probably leave this desk as it is. And then I'll come back to it. And I'll probably finish off the rest of the sorting with like putting it into their alphabeticals and stuff like that. You know, there are better ways to do this. You know, like thinking about it objectively. Like I could have put it into their file numbers. That's how I did it when I first did it. But because everything is sorted alphabetically, and it's a lot easier for me to list alphabetically, if I did by file number, I'd have to do it by alphabetical again. And that would just be like the same. Like I'd have to double sort things. And I'd rather just sort it once for all. I guess. So what you would do if you were doing it by file number, so where it says like file number 085, I just showed it on the screen. What you would do then is you would do 15 stacks of file number 001 to like 009, and then 10 to 19, 20 to 29. That's what you would do if you wanted to sort it by file number. But I'm happy doing it like this. It is very surprising how long this has taken. No, I thought I'd be able to get through this, but I guess, like I said, the moment you start talking, your brain slows down. I'm trying my best out here. Oh, we got 3 back-to-back there. That was really good. Yeah, man, I've sold a lot of stuff, eh? Like, sometimes I throw out numbers here and there, but, like, when I actually sit back and realize, like, okay, the numbers are actually true. Like, on my eBay, it's, like, almost 40,000 sold on my eBay account. On my second eBay account, it's, like, 8,000. So that's, like, 48,000. But the majority of my sales, especially when I used to sell, like, a lot of singles, were on my website when I sold the singles back then. And the numbers like over 100,000 all combined. Like 100,000 cards individually sorted and picked and sold. Plus when you think about like all the bulk deals, private deals. When I very first started, I didn't even sell on eBay or on my website. I sold, you know, through Facebook groups, and people would send me lists, and I would go through my list, and I'd have all the old stuff, and I would go through them and fill all this out. People would give them a price. They would pay me. Like I did it all. And I think that is like a thing that people still do, definitely. They, you know, go on Facebook, mainly Facebook sellers, just do less than the eBay price. But it's a little bit harder. Because you can only sell through interaction if you do it that way. You can't just have a listing where people can click buy. Plus, usually when you sell on those groups and Facebook stuff, you're always at like the lowest price. You have to be. Because it's like not on eBay. Everyone expects you to be like that. But me personally, I like the idea where I sell a little bit less, but I get a higher price. I feel like you guys, you know what I mean, right? It's pretty. I feel like that's not a bad trade-off, getting the highest price. Oh man, these cards. Oh man, there's only one Pokemon that starts with Z. You want to guess what it is? All right, it's Zubat. I already told you. So there's a Z pile, and there's also only one Pokemon that starts with I, and that's Ivysaur. So, yeah. Oh man, I should have set up the screen a little bit better when I very first started. Is this bad? Probably not. Oh well, I'm already 2 hours in. I can't change it now. Oh my god. I'm going crazy. These stacks are getting so big that it's like... Let me rearrange these. Maybe I'll pull them all into screen right now, actually. Alright. Oh, maybe I should do this right at the end. Yeah, I'm going to do this right at the end. Do this right at the end. I'm not going to do it now because it's, I don't want to mess up anything. Plus, if I move stuff now, my muscle memory is going to think that, like, the previous letter is going to be right, like, where it's not supposed to be, and it'll ruin everything. But yeah, these stacks are getting really big that I can't even, like, put the card on top. Plus, by them going upwards, the camera's kind of like messed up a little bit. Oh man. When all I talk about is the camera, it's gonna be like a little bit worse. I definitely need to do a closer video with me actually sorting things, because you can't really see much of the artworks here. It's more of like a background noise. I did want to highlight some of the artworks. I kind of forgot to do that. I don't even know what we talked about in this video. My brain is completely fried. Isn't that crazy? Just by talking, you can be fried. Well, I hope you guys appreciate it, because it's not easy. That's for sure. That's definitely not for sure. I've people that do this like all the time and professionally, and their YouTube videos and everything, man, I have a lot of respect for them. That's like, let's speed up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I do appreciate anyone that watches, obviously. I know like someone messaged me the other day, and they were like trying to, like, a YouTuber messaged me. And they're like, "Oh, Steve, I love your videos." And a few things, you know, if you want to get views and get subs and stuff, you know, you got to be a little bit more louder. You got to be more exciting and put more text on the screens and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, like that's fine, but like, I'm happy with the way I do things. If I change them, it's not really me, you know. I feel like there are people that do enjoy videos that aren't like that, even though that's like maybe the meta with videos, and that's like the most enjoyable way people like consuming them. And I'm happy to do that every once in a while, but it's not every video. I feel like click on a Steve video, you should know what you're supposed to get. Just kind of him talking. But you know, it's like, 30 seconds in, you should put a subscribe, like tell people to subscribe. And it's like, man, I don't know if I feel like whenever I watch a video personally and someone says, it really would help it if you subscribe, I personally don't like that. Like, I don't know why. I don't want to be told what to do. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, if people, like, I don't think subscribers really means that much, to be honest. I see people with like millions of subscribers and they don't get that many views. Maybe they had a channel that was big in the past or something like that. I don't know. I don't think I also feel like subscriber count probably like puts more pressure on you when it like grows. Like, I'm happy for it to get one perfectly, but like, I feel like most of the channels that I watch every day on YouTube, I'm not even subscribed to. Like, I'm not gonna like fault other people for not being. I don't know. Don't really care. But that's the difference between, me making videos. I don't need to like benefit greatly from the videos, because, I have my store. Plus, I've already set myself up a lot in life. It's not like something that needs to work out for me. So like, I need the interaction, I need the views, I need to get paid by YouTube. It's also kind of crazy how, like, I don't want to say low, because you're getting paid to do, like, making videos, but like, I think a lot of, even if you have like several, like, 300, 400,000 views a month, that might not be a big YouTuber. I don't know. That sounds like someone's pretty big if you have that many, but you'd only get like a few thousand. I guess it's still a lot, but there's a lot of pressure that comes with it as well for these creators and stuff to be out in the public eye and to show your face, subject to ridicule and all this stuff. I do definitely feel for these creators. Maybe it used to be better beforehand. Maybe it pays less now. I don't know what that is. It's not even a real comment, but yeah, I do feel for some of these creators, definitely. It's not all of them. There's some of them that obviously they get millions of views and they live it up. So I'm not feeling bad for those guys. But like the people that are like in the middle, that are on like the cusp, kind of like how I was when I like first quit my job. I was on like the cusp of being able to quit, but I did it and it didn't work. And it's like, if they didn't work, they'd have more time to make videos, and they're just trying to make the videos be like their thing. But, I definitely think for most people making videos, it's a great creative outlet for them. And I'm sure the moment they stop working and they have to do the videos to make money, everything changes. The whole dynamic changes. I'm sure the personality changes. The videos change. And it might be for the worse, personally. It might be for the worse. But it's the same thing when it comes to buying and selling. Like, you have to think differently if you needed to make money out of it. Because if you run a store, if you run a thing, if you run a store that needs leagues, if you have employees that need to get paid for, like, you definitely your whole outlook on everything changes the moment money comes into play. That's what I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know if what I'm talking about makes any sense, but Yeah, it's glorified that like you can make money doing the thing you love. Because usually when people make money doing the thing they love, it gets like pulled away from them. Like they lose sight of that. And I'm done sorting. That's really good. Let's okay, let's change the subject. Alright. Let's have a look here. I'm gonna, because my big head's in the way, I'm gonna move some of these. You guys haven't even seen this pile to the right here. This is all the G cards. The G Pokemon. Let me start this at the very, very top. So we have the A's, Alakazam stuff, Abra. We have Farfetch'd. Oh, I don't want to knock over any of these piles. Why did I start at the top? What am I doing? I hope you guys enjoy this video, honestly. I really hope you do. I hope the things that I'm saying, you can learn from them. Learn from all the mistakes that I've made, honestly. It's not a big deal. Like, I'm happy to say all my mistakes. If it saves people money in the long run, or if it saves people time is more important than the money, to be honest. Helps them change their outlook and like, look, you don't need to have all this money to be like really, really happy or feel successful or anything like that. I'm going to make this G pile into 2. It doesn't fall over. So yeah, so we got A, B, C, D, E, F, and then we got the G, H, I, J, K. There's not that many L's, to be honest. Is there only 2 L? Licky Tongue and Lapras. Yeah, makes sense. Kind of crazy. It's M. Look how many M's there is. Like, this was the most by far. Oh, no, M and S. It's just crazy, right? Some cards I didn't even see because I don't really have them in these bulk boxes. Some of the holos I pulled out that were like more good condition. L, M, N cards. And then we have O. So this is N and then O. The P cards are a lot. I mean, that's a lot. Misty, I will feed you after this, I promise. Well, no! I'm putting cards everywhere. It's the worst thing that can happen. It's fine, it's fine. We fixed it. We fixed it. Elemento P. So we got 2 stacks for P. Wow. That's a lot of Carddass. I'm not gonna lie. Especially 3 to 4. Like I've never seen anyone with as much as this, but I've also spent so much money on this. Like it's honestly unreal. And I haven't even done anything with it either. That's the worst thing. Like I don't even know how well they sell because I did list 1 of each. Like a complete set that I bought, but I didn't do much more than that because I'm trying to tackle everything at once. There's only so much time. But yeah, this is crazy. Look at that. Look at all, and this is my Zubats. Zubats. Oh wait, what's this? Wheezing. Oh, Zapdos as well. Oh, I got 3 Zapdos in here. And a bunch of Zubat and Zapdos. He's not the only Z. We got the TUVW. Yes, there's no Pokemon in the first 151 that starts with U. And then we got Z. So that's my... Oh, guys. And just remember, we have to do another video sorting out the red and green stuff. So when I come back to this desk, I will sort these out alphabetically. I'll be talking, well, they're already sorted alphabetically, but you know, I'll match up all the Alakazams and everything together. We'll talk about another topic. If there's something you want me to talk about, hey, if you're 2 hours, 20 minutes into the video, just give me something. Happy to have it, but I'm sure another few hours will go by and hundreds of things will pop into my head. So happy, if you guys like these videos, I'll do more of them. Let me know. Meanwhile, I'm going to go eat some Subway. I love Subway. Even if they wrong me, I don't care. I love Subway. Have a good day.